into the party wagon and hold on to your pizza. The Last Ronin, with story by Kevin Eastman, Peter Laird, and Tom Waltz. Script by Tom Waltz and Kevin Eastman. Layouts by Kevin Eastman. Pencils by Isao and Isaac Escaroza. Page 39 art by Ben Bishop. Color assistance by Samuel Plata, with over 69 different variant covers. We open up on a figure of a turtle who's dressed completely in black. He has each of the original Turtles' weapons on him: Raphael's sai, Leonardo's sword, Donatello's bow staff, and Michelangelo's nunchucks. So we can't really tell who it is. He has a black mask. He looks old. There's many lines on his face. He has some red goggles around his neck, and he's wearing a hood. He has sandals like a ninja would have on. It says, "Now." Forget the temperature. It's the toxicity levels that'll gotta be off the charts. You'd have to be crazy to swim in that sludge, we hear a voice off-screen say. The turtle says, "Maybe, but no bridges and no boats don't leave me much of a choice." Cold, huh? Yeah, all the time. Stay behind if it bothers you that much. Hey, where you go, we go. You know that. Yeah, I know. He wades into the water about waist deep, then up to his midsection. He says, "Okay, enough chit-chat." And he's off. We see a giant walled version of Manhattan, as it says, "Last Ronin Part 1. See you on the other side." The bridges have all been destroyed. It's an island. There's no way to get out, and very few ways to get in. We see that this is a giant gulag city that is built with a, looks like a Japanese architecture pagoda in the center. There's some searchlights going around, and all bridges have been destroyed. Next, he's coming through the water as he comes up in some debris fields up by the giant wall. As he pops his head above water, we can see his mask and his hood. He says it's cold. It tastes bad. As the water drips down, it's brown like sludge. He runs around the side of the wall. He says, "Definitely not fit for human survival, but that's okay. I'm not human, and I've got plenty of nasty tricks of my own." A nice close-up on the Ronin's outfit here, as he produces 2 throwing stars and throws them at a camera. Couple of crappy cameras, rusty barbed wire, no guards. Looks like they're way more worried about folks getting out than getting in. He takes a grappling hook out of his belt, and he throws it over the edge and makes his climb. He jumps over the barbed wire, and we see a futuristic cityscape, complete with what looks like a little Easter egg of the party wagon, but also there's a bunch of cars that seem to be flying. He lands in the classic superhero pose, teeth gritted. He looks around. He says, "It's time to finish this, or die trying," as he holds a sai in his hands. He goes into an alley. He says, "Crap." He was expecting resistance, but he didn't realize there'd be so many people. He looks on at Hilty's Pub, and he sees that there's a whole line of motorcycles there waiting with a whole bunch of patrons. A voice from off-screen says, "What, you expecting a leisurely stroll the whole way or something? And we thought the Lower East Side was overcrowded before." "Doesn't matter. The plan stays the same. Just need to get from here to there." As he points the side towards the pagoda building. "How, tough guy? Grab a cab? That's a long-ass hump, and a mutant packed head to toe with weapons don't exactly blend in." "He's right. We're inside the walls now. Security will be off the charts." The Ronin responds, "Tell me something a little more obvious. Besides, you know the drill. Adapt and overcome." He has his eye set on one of the motorcycles. We see some of the punks looking on. "Hey, Jones, check it out. Some fool jacked your wheels." "Jones? Are you freaking kidding me?" she says. She's got black hair, and it looks like she's got sort of Gene Simmons from Kiss eye makeup on that come down in like spikes from underneath her eyes, as she wears a purple cap that has goggles on it and a purple motorcycle jacket. This is Jones. We don't know much about her other than that. She just says, "Who the hell's that stupid?" We see the Ronin now on his motorcycle. Not much of a stealth move, but then again there's something to be said for hiding in plain sight as he blasts through the area on the motorcycle. Old turtle, new tricks. He pops a wheelie. Base of the tower. That's a long way up and there's guards everywhere. Should have stole a glider instead, Snake Plissken. Reference to Escape from New York. Or a catapult, silent but deadly. Not a bad idea, except the silent part. I just need a little diversion. As he pulls the bike off, he has a stick of what appears to be dynamite in his hand. He says, "Countdown, 3, 2, 1, as he jumps off and does a backflip off of the motorcycle with the dynamite in the handlebars as he sets it towards a fuel truck. "What the?" Some of the men working on it see it and run. Boom! Blast off! We see the Ronin with behind him is a giant explosion that seems to be pushing him forward. I can't say if the men made it out okay. I lied. To pull this off, I am going to need some luck, as he lands on the hood of a car and then bounces off a building and does a forward roll flip until he's barely able to grab onto the ledge of a nearby building and then take off what looks like an air cover from one of the AC units. That was graceful, we hear a voice off screen say. Worked, didn't it? The voice comes back. Check out those cables. We hack in, we might be able to download a map of this level. No time, says the Ronin. Really great artwork here where we see a full body shot of him. Plus, don't let your eyes get fooled by all these tubes and cables, 'cause the nose knows the truth. You can take the turtle out of the sewer, but you can't take the sewer out of the turtle. What does that even mean? Says the voice off screen. No matter what's changed, as he looks on to some lights that are coming down from the ceiling that are pink after he makes his way through just a whole jungle of cables. This is still our home turf. As he goes up through a manhole. We hear beep, 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 beep. I don't recall a lot of manhole alarms back in the day. Zip it, he says to the voice. Halt, as a security bot comes up behind him. Crap, the Ronin says. Security lightly armored. Some kind of RoboCops. Intruder. Roger. Time for an old trick. In his palm, he's got 3 spheres that make smoke as he throws them to the ground. Halt, halt, as he takes off. Central, we have an intruder in Delta Quadrant. In pursuit, says one of the robots as he scans, and we can see his laser-like eyes going across the alley as the Ronin looks on from atop. Fully integrated robotic security with katana. I gotta get a closer look at this. He jumps down upon him. He says, halt, as he smacks him. Now, this robot looks very similar to the G.I. Joe character Snake Eyes, even with the same visor, I would say. He punches him square in the face. It says, whap! And he kicks him with a flock. And he sees that he's lying on the ground hurt. Robo-ninja cops, tougher than it looks. He pulls out his tonfa, which are clubs similar to nightsticks. He says, let's find out, as he goes at him, and he cracks him one really good, knocking the sword out of his hand. Halt! Damn. Broken record. He knocks off his head. You can see the start of a man, actually, his eye poking through. He says, what the hell? The voice off screen says, that is a human inside that armor. Looks like some kind of cyborg. I think more synthetic than human. A synthetic ninja? A stinking sinja? What kind of sick freak does that to someone? Ronin responds, the reason I'm here, that's who. As he stands triumphant over the dead ninja. Unit 109 has been disabled. Place is going to be crawling with these things soon. Scanning for suspect. He jumps up onto the roof using his grappling hook. Need to keep moving. Gotta stay on the mission. Target acquired? Affirmative. And remember the first lesson our father ever taught us. Strike hard. Fade away. Never lose focus. He attacks 2 of the ninjas from the top, using one swipe of his katana and decapitating both of them. Putting his sword back into the holster behind him, he looks upon the pagoda building. Halt, as he's seen running away again. Suspect located. Residential complex 661. Requesting air support. Proceed with caution. Now one of them shows up and he's got a gun. But this time, improvising. Looks like a hat rack was thrown through both of their heads at the same time, and it takes 2 of them out. Halt! They're fast, says the Ronin, as one of them pulls out a laser weapon to shoot at him, packing more than swords, too. Ronin escapes by going on a building and the ledge just above the window where the gun-toting cyborg was. Close quarters combat's a mistake. I'll just end up painting myself into a corner. Halt! As he kicks him, and he kicks him all the way down onto the top of a car that would just happen to be speeding by as it's flying. To be a true warrior, one must know when to crouch, when to leap, and when to stand firm. This time he ends up jumping and ending up on top of a train that's passing by as he jumps off. And most importantly, when to fly. As we see him do a sort of a dive, a half-gainer sort of Greg Louganis dive off of the train. He actually lands on a police car. Need to get to the upper levels faster. As he reaches in to grab the police cyborg and actually throw him out as he says, halt. And he hijacks the police car. He says, this should help. Or not, as it flips over backwards, nearly throwing him out. Says, controls are jammed. He crashes through a billboard. This isn't good. He ditches it and does a forward roll. And just as he sticks the landing, seriously, it falls to the ground and explodes. The voices off screen say, smooth moves. Classic. You still can't even fly 10 feet in a straight line. Ronan responds with, "Whatever, shut up. They're right. I need to stick to what I know best, and this is more like it." As he's running across the rooftops, we see a silhouette of him jumping from building to building. Close up on the pagoda building, he says, "I'm coming for you." The scene changes to the building itself, Oroko Hiroto. "Am I mistaken, Captain Izuka, or is there some kind of disturbance currently taking place in the Middle District?" "That's affirmative. We have an unidentified intruder, Master Hiroto. Most likely a rogue derelict from the Bottom District." "And where exactly is the rogue derelict currently?" "We have him surrounded in the lower business zone. Permission to sound the general alarm?" "Permission granted." And close up on the eyes. Looks very similar to the Shredder. He's got brown eyes, long black hair, a very long withdrawn face. He's slim and in a black ninja outfit as he looks out upon a giant window where he can see a great vantage point of the city. We see a whole bunch of crows that seem to be flying around, circulating in this room that he's in. "Insubordination from the lower classes cannot be tolerated. Lessons must be learned from this, Captain. Examples must be made." "Master," the man says, "ensure that our troops have live video feeds running at all times. I want this important operation broadcast to the entire city, top to bottom. Pursuit, capture, execution." Oroko Hiroto, so-called master of the Foot Clan. As we see now, we've gone back to the Ronin who's running on a rooftop. Karai's bastard son, the Shredder's grandson. "From the day we were born, from our father trained my brothers and me to fight this war between our families. For respect, for honor, for revenge. And now, after decades of murder and death, I've had enough." "I think you just ran out of miracles, bro," the voice says off-screen. "We've been in tough spots before, but this is practically impossible." As we look on to the increased security detail trying to get into the building. "Same as it ever was for us, and I quit believing in miracles a long time ago," says the Ronin. "But I am a ninja." "Huh!" And he jumps onto the bottom of a police car. And he does a duck and roll and then hides in some cover, getting into the building. "Easy, there's military-grade equipment and hardcore foot soldiers everywhere," says the voice off-screen. Another voice says, "Yeah, the entrance to the upper level is way on the other side of the platform." "Well then," says the Ronin, "I'd better get a ride." "Commence transport." "Rod." As the Ronin takes out one of the sentries. They won't expect a direct attack. This could buy a few extra minutes as he gets onto looks like a motorcycle, driving indoors to get to where he needs to. Need to get through the main tower doors before they know what hit him, as he drives head-on, taking out men carrying boxes as he goes. "Halt! Authorization required!" "Guard station's offline." As he crashes he narrowly jumps off of the motorcycle as it crashes into the guard station. In the explosion, we hear him say, "Should save me the time I need to. Damn! Time's up." He draws a sigh in the tonfa as he jumps in to fight off these sentries. We see him going through them quite easily, and he takes the final one out with a giant which is a jumping kick. He throws some more of the little spheres for smoke bombs, cracks a smile, and he's off. Another large explosion. Something fast. Halt. Upgrades. Lethal force authorized. As a cyborg comes to him, it looks like they have the body of a woman, and it's on rollerblades, and it has some blades on its arm. Completely white with 3 red marks for where its mouth would be and 2 red eye holes. He throws some spikes at it. He catches it, knocks it off guard. More toys, Hiroto. Machines doing all your fighting for you. Gutless. As he takes it, grabs it, and throws it. Flash over to Hiroto, who's watching this. "Captain Izuka, why am I looking at the terrorist infiltrator inside the lower levels of my tower?" "Master, I understand your concern, but we have activated every resource available to stop him." "No, I don't think you understand. Either I have his head on a pike before this day is through, or I'll have yours." Forward back to a picture of the Ronin, dismantling the female robot with the blades on her arms. "Snap!" snaps her neck. "I know you're watching, Oroko Hiroto, and I know you're scared. I'm coming for you, you coward," he says into the camera. Hiroto says, while looking into a screen, "A mutant turtle? I want all available foot to the tower now! Exterminate that blasted thing!" Target located. Looks like a platoon of stormtroopers in the white armor head up towards him. He makes quick work of them, up close and personal, and takes them all out. He's on to level 2 now. Biometric security. A voice says, "Yeah, guess an old-school retinal scanner." He takes one of the cyborgs and puts him up to the retina scanner. "Thanks again, pal." Slam gets in. Elite Ninja, I must be getting close. As he sees some more of these white ninjas, these time different, with a shield on their arm and what looks like a spear on the other hand. By the order of Oroku Hiroto, master of the Foot Clan, you cannot pass. Drop your weapons and await extermination. He lunges at them with the sword. Don't think I will. He starts out by cutting off one of their legs, then the head of another. Then he dodges the blade attack for another and stabs him through the midsection, cuts off his arm, and then with a hi-ya, cuts off the other foot. These machines are fast and strong. But for all their fancy programming, they lack sheer will. As he puts an explosive on one and kicks it out the window, we see the picture of the tower and how far he's actually gotten up, and an explosion right outside. Back to Hiroto. Incompetent fools! Activate the Stockman tech! I want that monster dead! Me? He says, as he prepares his grappling hook. Sheer will is all I have left. I'm here, Hiroto. Your destiny's at hand. Face me! Blathering idiot, he says, looking into a screen. You actually believe I'd soil my own hands with your filth? I am master here, master of all. Others do my every bidding. Still, I thought I'd killed off all you pathetic mutants before. A mistake I will not make twice. We see coming through the wall, looks like modified Mausers. Flying Mausers with lasers? As they shoot lasers at him. Fine. Localized EMP for the little ones, as he smacks together his tonfa, and it takes out the small ones. Then the large one, which has a giant cycloptic eye and Mauser mouths on its hand. He says something more conventional for the big one, as he stabs him through the midsection with the sword. Wait, no, our momentum, too fast! As they both end up falling out the window with a ksh. No, not like this. We see them both, their silhouettes, falling from the skyscraper. Not after I came so close. Was the Ronin still fighting and trying to decapitate the monster as he falls. He says, falling, as the people above look as he falls. And there's falling glass all around them. We see him on the ground. Looks like he hit pretty hard because there's fractures in the ground all around him. He spits up blood. Hiroto, come face me. Still alive somehow. Hiroto, you coward! Everything feels broken. All citizens disperse immediately, says one of the cyborg robots. By order of Master Oroku Hiroto. The Ronin gets up. I won't let them finish me this way. I won't dishonor my family. As he gets up, heavily bleeding from the mouth, he holds on to his ribs. Disperse immediately. Not anymore. Disperse. Lethal force authorized. Hey, bag of bolts. Dude you're looking for is not dead. He took off that way, says Jones. All foot units. The terrorist is still alive. Redirect pursuit towards Central Park. You guys hang here and make sure they don't backtrack. I'm gonna check it out. Holy hell, this guy's bleeding out big time, says Jones as he follows a trail of blood that leads to an open manhole. And says, and down he went. Back to the tower with Hiroto. His petty desire for revenge crushed along with his abominable body. A foregone conclusion, of course. The foolish beast actually believed he could destroy me and settle some archaic family feud. Me? Fah! Horrible imbecile, never had a chance. Which does beg the obvious question. If vengeance was the why of the creature's clumsy assault, then what was the how? No matter. You not need to worry. As always, I have all under control. Nothing will ever threaten my ironclad rule over this city, this empire I have forged, and you will always be here to share in my glory and to witness as I finish all that you could not. He looks upon a woman who's in a cryogenic chamber. Dearest mother, must be cry. One of his underlings comes up. Master Hiroto. Captain Ishikuza. But why so empty-handed? Nothing left of the carcass to deliver? No, master. The terrorist remains loose. The face of Hiroto is here, as we can see it, and he does not look pleased. Back to the Ronin in the sewers. Could have gone down fighting, let those things finish me off. But that'd just be avoiding the inevitable. Bleeding heavily as he walks through the sewer. Knew this was a suicide mission from the start. He coughs up some blood. Flood. We see him hit the ground. Need to end this on my own terms. For my family. Honor. A voice off screen says, dude, you don't gotta do that. Quiet! No more talking. We see the Ronin as he disrobes, as he takes off all but his mask. So he takes off the black uniform. He holds Donatello's bow staff. He holds the katana that was broken on the robot from Leonardo. He holds Michelangelo's nunchucks. Coughs up blood again. Holds Raphael's side. Coughs up blood again. He lays the weapons out before him. We were always so different. As we see laid down, he's on his knees. Laid down before him, the side, the nunchuck, the bow staff, and the broken katana blade. But so much alike. As he opens up a zipper pouch that has 4 different colored bandanas that he lays across the weapons. One blue, one purple, one red, one orange. I miss my brother so much, and I miss my father. A journal with Japanese writing on it. He lays that down as well. More than anything else, I wanted to make them proud. An old turtle we can see, and it looks like he has lots of spots on him that have been there. Picks up the remnants of Leonardo's sword. Tests it to make sure that it's sharp. In the end, too little too late, the story of my life. We see him kneeling down, about to commit harikari, a ritual suicide for those who have lost honor in the Japanese culture. I'm sorry, Father, I failed. Please forgive me. Too much blood. Never lose focus. As we see him coughing up blood, Jones comes up behind him and interrupts him. What the? No, not yet. As he keels over from exhaustion and probably blood loss. Not like this. Holy crap, it's a, no, wait, you're a mutant turtle, says Jones. We see on the next page, it looks like a heart rate monitor. You guys don't wake him up soon. I'm eating the last bagel, says a smiling turtle face. The other 2 stand behind him. Hey, Sleeping Beauty, wake up, we got things to do. Oh man, one of the turtles says as he's sitting in the bed. Who smashed a cement truck into my skull? More like a fleet of cement trucks, the other turtle says. Yeah, we've seen prettier things pulled out of the East River in spring. The other one in the doorway, he says, whatever, where are we anyways? Duh, says one of them in the doorway. Welcome home. Home, says the turtle in the bed. What do you mean? Hold up. Is this the old sewer lair? We see the turtle in the bed who's convalescing while the other 3 brothers are talking to him, and it does appear that they're back into the old sewer lair. What are you expecting, the Ritz or something, Twinkletoes? And who said you could use my favorite blanket? How the hell did we... He's just so confused as he's all bandaged up. Thank God you're up. Oh my God, he looks over. April? Is that really you? Yes, it's me. We see April's face as she comes in. She looks like she has aged quite a bit. And now we've gone back to the Ronin sitting in the bed, bandaged up, where it looks like he's been fixed up and brought here by someone to be with April. And April says, and I'm so relieved to see you awake. You really had me worried, mister. But who were you just talking to, Michelangelo? And that's the end of issue 1, The Last Ronin. The Last Ronin, Issue 2. Story by Kevin Eastman, Peter Laird, and Tom Waltz. Script by Tom Waltz and Kevin Eastman. Layouts by Kevin Eastman. Pencil and inks by Isao and Isaac Escarosa. Ben Bishop and Kevin Eastman. Color assistance by Samuel Plata. Colors by Luis Antonio Delgado. Letters by Sean Lee. Additional editorial coordination by R.G. Lorena and Bobby Curnow. Last Ronin Part 2, First to Fall. Now, we see April O'Neil, haggard and old. She wakes up, tear in her eye, as she comes to consciousness in her bed. Then, we see, second time around, this is the store that she used to live in, the second-hand store. What the heck is taking so long? Casey, you told them 6:30 sharp, right? Everything's getting cold. We see Casey and April discussing some people who are late and a candlelit dinner with a turkey and all the trimmings is set up on the table. Relax, April. You know, getting from the lair to here is always a pain in the butt. But all this food. We see April getting close to Casey. I'm fine, babe. It's more worried about screwing up the toast later. Are you nervous to tell them? Sort of, but they're family. I can't believe you said yes, as he caresses her hand to see that there's an engagement ring. April says, well, I used to think I'd end up marrying you out of pity, but then I couldn't wait for you to ask me. You took so long. Sorry about that. It's just that the streets were never really showed me how to care for anything more than myself or my life, which sounds kind of stupid because I wouldn't even have a life if it wasn't for you and the guys. Speaking of, you're right. They're taking way too long to get here. I'm starving. I know it's not like them. Flam! Raphael slams open the door, his fists covered in blood, as he runs in armed to the teeth with all sorts of blades and pouches on him. Incoming! Make a hole!
Oh my God, Raph! Ambush! Knocks all the food off of the dining room table, leaving just a huge mess where all the food was. Ambush? Who? Says Casey. Raph, you're hurt. Forget me, Master Splinter. Michelangelo and Donatello come in carrying a very damaged Master Splinter on their arms. Over here! Raph, where? April, grab the med kit. Bring everything. Splinter looks very worse for wear. We see Donatello wearing a Cousin Eddie-style hat from National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation as he brings in Master Splinter, and they place him on the table. We go back to now, where April wakes up. It looks like she's got a headache. We see a little bit of her room. She's on what looks like a medical bed, and we can see around her there's one boot, looks like a robotic leg on the floor, a robotic arm, and her arm is hidden underneath a pillow, and we can see one leg that shows underneath the covers. There's definitely looks like an iPad and some food and wrenches and things like that in this room. So it looks like she's definitely had some hard times here. Back to Splinter. This is bad. Easy, easy, says Mike. Splinter's laid out on the table. We can see that he is very injured. There's gashes all over him, especially on his leg. There's blood all over his kimono. Donnie, help me cut the clothing and clear all this blood. I don't know where to start. Snap out of it. We need to find which wounds are the most dangerous. Focus. Yeah, okay. I'm good. Who the hell ambushed you? Foot bastards. Large strike team jumped us. We came out of the sewers. Leonardo? Says Splinter. Rear guard, Sensei. Making sure we all got clear, says Mikey. Screw that. Come on, Raph. Let's go make sure Leo got clear, too. Straight, damn it. Body count time. Every damn foot in this city is about to find out how big a mistake they made tonight. Stand down, Raph, says Leo. Leo shows up with his sword and puts back into the sheath on his back. He's wearing a long brown trench coat. We're good for now. I turned the last of them back at the subway. Looks like they might be running towards the east side. The docks, maybe. What about the truce, Leo? I thought we was past this with them. Honestly, I'm surprised it lasted as long as it did. April says, that's what you get when you make deals with the devil. How's father? Says Leo. He's lost so much blood. We're doing the best that we can, but without a real doctor, I don't know if we can save him. Leo just looks to the side. Understood. Casey, pull the van around. I'll call Dr. Lee. What? I know we shouldn't move him, but no, you're right, April. We need help, says Donnie. Splinter tries to speak meekly. This war just matter of time. Oroco against Hamato, always. Karai trying to end it once and for all. Shh, we got you, Sensei. It's okay, says Michelangelo as a tear runs down his cheek. Hey, where's Raph? Says Casey. Leonardo just stands there. Damn it. Back to now, we see April trying to get up. Now we can see that she has a stump for a hand and a stump for a leg on the opposite side of her body. She reaches over and grabs her cybernetic hand, and with a click, she puts it on. We can see as she attaches it. Next, she reaches over to the leg, which is just out of reach, and she kind of fumbles with it. Damn! It's kind of tough for her to get up and see it. She looks over at the wall and says, Hey, Casey, a little help here? As we see a bag of golf clubs and full of hockey sticks and sporting equipment that Casey used to use, and his mask sitting there next to some old equipment. Next, we see the Ronin. Shh, lights, match. The whole April still being alive thing is nuts, huh? Yeah, hard to believe anyone survived that. Talk about miracles. We see him as he's trying to make tea. He looks at the kitchen table in the old sewer layer, and he sees Leonardo, Raphael, and Donatello all giving him colorful commentary. Shh. He lights another match. Last thing I remember was the explosion. And then, says the Ronin, I was pretty out of it. Bad when I finally came to. Couldn't remember anything for days. I kind of missed that one, I guess. No kinda about that, Raph. Why was that, huh? I don't know, Donnie. Would it be because he flipped out and ran off and did something stupidly hot-headed again, would it? And how many times has my stupid hothead saved all your asses, Leo? Not enough, says the Ronin. Tea's ready. Never enough. Yeah, at least I didn't try to off myself at the first whiff of failure. You stupid, pathetic fool! You always make this entire life all about you. I fought every battle you have, even the idiotic ones that you started, and still you want to judge me? Ronin's pissed. He throws the hot tea kettle at the wall, and we see it's just an empty table. You knew it was my mission, was a one-way ticket from the start. And our father, for our family, for our honor. He puts it back on the stove and heats up. He has four cups for tea that he pours. After the tea is finished, I will finish what we started, what Master Splinter raised us to do. The last Iroko. As the three ghostly turtles all raise their cup and toast him, he toasts them back. On the next page, it leads to the last Iroko must die. We see Raphael, hot-headed as ever, running off across the rooftop. Really cool picture here as the art changes from the original artist to Ben Bishop's art, and we can see a really cool iconic post of or a picture of Raphael in kind of like where his sigh is drawn, kicking out his leg. He jumps down into the subway. Whoa! You see that? What? As we see two figures that you might recognize as Kevin Eastman and Peter Laird eating pizza. They didn't quite see him as he went by. Blood, that's what he says. As he looks, where is she? As he grabs a foot soldier, drags him into a culvert, and then leaves him. Imbeciles. Then we see highlight of the docks where Karai is talking to the foot, who all stand there looking like they're very ragged after a battle with Leonardo. I gave you one simple command, kill the mutants, and now you have the utter gall to return here, nurse your own pathetic wounds, and wallow in your failure? This will not stand. We will finish what we have started. The truce between the Foot and the Hamato clans has been broken. Blood has been spilled. We see a Karai here who looks very sallow in face, with her face drawn and a big glower on her face, and she looks very much like Elektra, with 4 swords behind her. We see that Raphael has made it in here, and he's making his way through the crowd, just snapping necks and stabbing people as he goes through. He jumps in and with an upside-down movement stabs 2 people with sais in the lungs, and then 1 into the neck. And he's just making a bloody swath and kicking the Foot in the face and trying to make his way towards Karai. Karai looks at the Foot elite and yells, "Destroy the beast!" Raphael's one response is, "Bring it!" He clutches his sai and takes out 5 Foot all at once. Then another one. "Sending these wimps to do your dirty work, huh, Karai? You made one mistake. You made that mistake once tonight. You ambushed my family, killed my father. Only one way this ends." Raphael is utterly peppered with throwing stars and arrows, as we can see it all sticking onto the harness that he's wearing. "So stop hiding behind these scrubs and let's finish this once and for all." He's absolutely bloody and torn up, and it's hard to decipher if the blood is his or if it's that coming off of the foot soldiers that he's absolutely decimating. As she jumps in from behind the scene of a red moon, we see him sitting there, waiting for her sais drawn. "Yes, we will. Foolish, undisciplined brute. Brute! You got no idea." She slashes at him with a sword, and he kicks her, disarming her as he stabs her right through the forearm with a sai. She reels back. "Enough! My soldiers have failed to take your head, mutant, but I will not." Now, disarmed of his other sai, he blocks her sword with his left hand. "You missed! Ugh. My turn," as he takes her and he dives backwards and takes her with him into the water. We see as they fall into the water, into his own element, that Karai reaches down to his thigh to pull out a blade. It looks like a throwing blade or a kunai. She reaches for it. It manages to pull it away from his thigh, and she slashes at him across the face. And when she does this, he takes his sai and jams it into the back of her lung, stabbing her. She at that same time jabs it up underneath his chin, killing him in the process. We see a gasp of air bubbles as she floats almost lifelessly to the surface. His sai, released from hand, sinks down into the water. And then a sole page of just his sai sinking to the bottom of the ocean. Back to now. "Michelangelo, what the heck are you doing up? You should be resting," says April. I couldn't sleep, so I made some tea. Hope that's okay." We can see a lot more of Michelangelo now that he's not wearing any of his Ronin gear. He's standing there basically as a nude turtle mutant, just covered with some bandages. It does appear that he has healed quite a bit, and his body looks very different than it did to that of a teenager. Lots more speckles and spots, almost like an older tortoise. "Of course it is. It's your kitchen. It was before I moved in. And sorry, I just got worried when I didn't find you in your bed. The tea's from when you used to live here. I hope it's still good." "Best cup of tea I've had in a long time." "Me? I run on high octane these days," as she holds up a big thing of coffee. "Sometimes there's not enough caffeine in the world, you know." Michelangelo looks over at her arm. She goes, "My arm?" "Yeah. Sorry." "Don't be. I've got one leg just like it. Souvenirs from the last time we saw each other." "I'm so happy you're alive, Mikey." Yeah, thanks, April. You too." "All this time I thought..." "I know, we've got some serious catching up to do. But not before we get some breakfast in us. These eggs are real, by the way, not the synthetic crap that we're usually stuck with, courtesy of the black market. Fresh batch, too. Can't let Salmonella finish what Hiroto couldn't. Word is on the street you really rattled his cage. Maybe. But rattling cages wasn't the plan. I'm sure it wasn't. You know, you're lucky to be alive. Yeah, still trying to process it all. That fall would have killed me when I was younger. Instead, well, I'm not Donatello, but it doesn't take a genius to see that your mutation has progressed over the years. You're bigger, stronger, and healing amazingly fast. Not my head, everything's so fuzzy, as he grabs his head. Looks like he has a headache. Still don't know how I got back to the lair. Hold that thought. Casey, breakfast! What? Casey's still alive too? Michelangelo, I'd like you to meet my daughter, Casey Marie Jones. At this point, we see a woman who is dark of hair. She's got her hair back in a ponytail. She has her hands wrapped as if she was a martial arts fighter doing some striking training. She wears a purple top with white boots and some blue jeans. This is Casey Marie Jones. We kind of met already. You were a lot less conscious and a lot more bloody at the time. This is so weird. I've been hearing about you turtles all my life, but I never thought I'd get to meet one of you for real. Obviously got that wrong, huh? Casey? Yep, that's me. You're supposed to be the funny one, right? Like I said, lots of things to catch up on. Back in the tower, we see Hiroto Oroko, who is trying to get some practice in. What is wrong with you? I said show me a decent fight! As he holds two Eskrima sticks as he fights on to 7 of the Ninja Foot Clan members. They'll all attack him at once. Kill me, cowards, or I will have you killed. Yes, that's it, as they attack him with the sticks, more deadly this time, with more force. Ha! It seems that they're very reticent in attacking their master. Ha! He takes one out with a knee strike, grabs 2 at a time and takes them out and with the flip maneuvers, then throws another one. Ha! Finally a decent strike. Excellent strike. Most masterful. Unfortunately for you, there is only one master. He pulls a knife from out behind his backside and then slits the throat of the one who actually struck him. We can see why they were right to actually not attack him full. The lesson has ended. Clean up this mess. Come here, Captain Furuka. He says he wants a full update. So we notice that the captain's name is different. Has our little problem been solved, Captain? No, Master, the rogue mutant has not yet been located. Disappointing. There was a time when those things slid through alleys and across the rooftops of the city with near impunity. They even had an utter audacity to brand themselves ninja, even though it was far less impressive than that. The creature is fearfully sulking in the shadows, no doubt, which means a shift in tactics is in order, dear Captain. A shift, Master? Yes, I want all your troops engaged in full crackdown of the city inside and out. And once we capture the filthy creature, we will destroy it. As he holds on to a crow, we can see that his arms are heavily tattooed with looks like some ceremonial tattoos, Asian in nature. He then grabs a glass of wine. We will then destroy it with extreme public prejudice. Now go, Captain. See to my orders, but remember, you were newly raised to the rank in the wake of Captain Izuka's failure. Will not allow for your inability to locate the beast just this once. The price for failing me again will be the same as your predecessors. So we can see the 2 crows are actually picking the eyes and the flesh off of the previous captain's head, which rested a pike in his office. Back to the sewer. Man, Mom, after 2 hours of kendo, that sure hit the spot. I almost forgot what real meal was like. Thanks, April. You're welcome. We do okay, all things considered. Just don't expect anything fancier in Rock Bottom. As they start cleaning up the dishes, we see Casey starts to clear the table off. Rock Bottom? Just a nickname for New York split into 3 districts. Top, middle, and bottom. Rock Bottom's the old street level. Our people. Then there's the rest of us. Rest of us? Yeah, Rock Bottom's on the battlefield, and the rest is the underground. We're the resistance. Which we'll tell him all about after he gets more rest. Maybe we can grab him some clean linen, Okay, come on, Michelangelo. If there's one thing I know about my mom, she's not going to take no for an answer. So, kendo, huh? Yeah, been doing it since I was little. Other stuff, too. Hard not to. When you grow up in a place like this, we see the turtles' old training room with all kinds of weapons for them to practice with, weights to lift. Looks like it was set up just the way it was when they were living here. Blows my mind to be standing here with you. I heard so many stories, and my mom showed me some of the old photos. You guys are practically like storybook heroes to me. I even tried to learn as much martial arts as I could, on my own mostly. Spent a lot of time at old training videos and reading a lot. You know, the Ninja Warrior part, as she picks up a sword and holds it. That always gets me pumped. I'm not really sure if pumped is the goal. Well, I know some of the history too, things like Bushido. and seppuku as she pulls out what looks like the 4 masks and the 4 weapons in Splinter's journal from when he was going to commit seppuku in the previous issue. These are very personal to me, thank you. Sure, once I saw who you were, I didn't want to leave anything behind. Considering what you were about to do, I understand why. You know the honor of it? Did you say anything to your mom? No, nothing. Things must have been pretty rough the last few years. Just to see a little bit of hope in her eyes again, well, thanks again. Actually, you can thank me more by telling me about this. My Japanese ain't the greatest, but understand enough to know the special handwritten journal. But, like instructions for all kinds of martial arts and styles and techniques, important life lessons, right? Yeah, something like that. It was my father's. Can I ask you a question? Where have you been all this time? Yeah, that. Well, after all the bad stuff that happened, it was too much to handle, so. We now see the art style shift. It's the classic Kevin Eastman sort of style. We see Michelangelo, who is climbing up a mountain that is snow covered, and he's wearing looks like some Arctic gear. I just started walking into the mountains, a kid from the sewers of a lower Manhattan straight into the wild. Bad idea. I'd seen photos of snow-covered mountains, but never set foot on one being cold-blooded. I didn't have a chance, so I found a place to meet my end. He looks at an old mine shaft. Days, weeks, maybe longer. I don't know how long I laid there. My mutant body would just not die. I started to hear voices telling me that my destiny was incomplete, that I couldn't leave yet. Eventually, it got warmer, and the mountains provided more sustenance and solitude. That time, I took a deep look into my soul for answers. I read and reread my father's book, looking back for some kind of balance, maybe even a final peace. He sits there in meditation. We can see him wearing robes, ceremonial robes, almost a kimono, as he sits in the lotus position, meditating. I spent years alone thinking this was where I was supposed to be, like a stupid reward for some well-deserved punishment or something. That's not the way of the world. The real world found me again. Almost let it take me. We see a picture of, looks like some men. Monster! Kill the freak! As they find him just tending a garden. I welcomed the pain at first. At least felt something after all that time. Then I saw the looks in their faces, laughing, taking life just for fun. No honor. That's when I got mad. So we see the faces looking down at him with their teeth glaring as he raises his fist. And then we see he's taking them out. Then I got mad. Really mad. We were raised with respect and honor, trained from birth for redemption of our family. That was the destiny on the battlefield, to the end. Then we see after that point, he just walks on. Father's book was the path, to learn, to master all forms of martial arts, to adapt to every challenge, every form of combat. I was the last of my clan, masterless, Ronin, and it had to be up to me to restore our family's honor. We see him as he's practicing in what looks like a fighting dome, fighting arena, as he fights on with sticks, he fights with swords, he fights with the sai, and he fights with the tonfa. Really cool art here. My training reached an end. There would be no peace until I fulfilled my destiny. Then the time had come to face it, as he hops from the mountain, off of a horse, and then onto a ship that's called Bernini, Bernini, from Italy. As he heads into, it was time to come home and face it, as he heads into the port of New York City. We see him scrunched up in the hold with a whole bunch of rats, armed to the teeth with all the weapons that he had been practicing with. The art style shifts back to the main style here. To complete my master's mission, kill the last Oroku. And this last page, what does it mean? It says, no peace. Means I still got a lot of work to do. Good, because my crew's going to help you. He just looks sideways, as if in pensive thought. No, I appreciate the offer, but I won't be responsible for anyone else getting killed because of me. Well, too bad, because I wasn't asking. You wouldn't even be standing here if it wasn't for us. We got trouble coming now that you stirred things up, so if you don't want help taking out Hiroto, then stand in line. Heh, what's so funny? Just trying to decide if you're more like your dad or your mom. As we see April, she goes over into her closet and she opens up a pair of French doors. We see that there's a little safe that she opens up. It says S-A-L-O. So it looks like Sal-O. And she opens up a combination lock with one of her hands that is still remaining in the other one, which is a mechanical hand. The safe opens and she pulls out what looks like the head of Professor Honeycutt, the Fugitoid. To be continued.
The Last Ronin, issue number 3. Story by Kevin Eastman, Peter Laird, and Tom Waltz. Script by Tom Waltz and Kevin Eastman. Layouts by Kevin Eastman, with pencils by Esau and Isaac Escarosa, Ben Bishop, and Kevin Eastman. We start out, it is called Last Ronin Part 3, Fight or Flight. In the past, then. And so we mark another critical milestone in the long venerated history of the Foot Clan, says the old sensei as he looks down as a man looks down upon two swords. He's surrounded on each side by 3 men. On the occasion of the 16th year of his life, and his manifest duty is the sole heir to the throne, we have gathered to raise up the grandson to Oroko Saki and son to Oroko Karai. Oroko Hiroto, do you swear now unto death your fealty to the Foot Clan? Do you become master you were born to be? The man bends down and bows towards the sword that's before him. Yes, I swear my undying loyalty to all here, the most decorated generals, and to all who serve under you, with great honor and humility, as he unsheaths his sword. I rise! He raises it up to the sky as we see him then standing in front of all of the men as he sheaths his sword. It has been 10 years since my beloved mother and our former master, Oroko Karai, was critically injured in her battle with the mutants of the Hamato clan. She has remained comatose since that fateful day, unable to lead our forces in resulting bloody and costly war. As was my destiny, I studied and trained for this moment, when my birthright I could continue to build upon her and my grandfather's honorable legacy. General Oyama, I am prepared to issue my first command as your new liege. And we are prepared to obey, Master Hiroto. Good. Send a formal invitation for parley to the Hamato clan leadership. To those here in Japan, and to Splinter in New York City, this war has gone on far too long, and it comes to speak of peace. As he closes the sword in the scabbard. That was then. This is now. We see Oroko Hiroto, with 2 red lines painted over his eyes, in a kimono that has some tiger stripes on it. It is all white with red on it. He's walking around a lab, and he reminisces as he looks at that very sword. We are ready for you now, Master Hiroto. Very well. Pay careful attention, Mother, as he looks above a hyperbaric chamber that seems to hold his mother's body, almost lifeless and comatose. Time to remind this city who is its master. I want this broadcast in every part of the city, no exceptions. Let us begin. As we see this, he appears as a giant shrouded figure in this cape and cowl that he has, and he is now on a broadcast throughout the city, and we see a giant blue hologram over the city where everybody can see it. There are people who are looking as it appears over Times Square, and then you can see that there's lots of robots that kind of come out from here. What he's doing is he is issuing martial law. Denizens of New York, my people, my city. For nearly 2 decades I have kept you safe, protected, allowed you to prosper at will. My will. I alone decide your fate. So hear me now. Heed what I have to say. There is a monster in our midst. The creature, this assassin, cowardly attacked this sacred ground with one terroristic mission in mind, to tear down all that I have built, and to kill me. The treasonous affront is unacceptable, unfathomable, and unforgivable. Any crime against me is punishable by death. We can see the Ronin's picture is plastered everywhere around the city. No stone will be left unturned until this beast is captured, and I will personally execute final justice. Tonight, and until further notice, the entire city will be under martial law. Obey my soldiers, return to your home and await orders, and know this, anyone foolish enough to harbor this terrorist insurgent will not suffer his fate. No, yours will be far worse. Your master has spoken. And with that, it goes back and disappears. Cyborgs start to blast the citizens of New York with hoses to get them under their control, to send them back. We see Casey's gang, who is kind of just trying to figure out what's going on from an alley. Man, this got bad real fast. Yeah, they've got communications jammed. We need to get Jones ASAP. Forward to the sewer, where we see the Ronin, who's looking through his journal. We see on it, it says, no peace, and that's the last entry. Gotta admit, Casey Marie's pretty damn impressive. Book smart and street smart, says Donnie. Tough, too. But she's crazy if she thinks she's helped fight Hiroto, says Leo. Ain't that right, Mike? Huh? What? Says the Ronin. It seems that he's still hallucinating from his brothers. I mean, Yeah, right. She's just a child. Good call. She can't be more than 17 years old. 16 and already tangling with the Foot Clan. Sound familiar? He says. Apples to oranges, Mikey. We trained her entire lives. And she ain't a mutant, bro. She's just a kid. Casey and April's kid. And we were Splinter's kids. And Karai, Shredder's. And Hiroto, hers. And here we are, all back to us at square one. In the dark. We see that the Ronin is just holding on to one of the sais, just kind of fingering it and trying to figure out what to do. And he's just interrupted by Casey Ree Jones. Whoa, easy. This is just wondering if there's some kind of ninja thing that I should know about. Talking to yourself in the dark? No, it's not. And it takes way more than sneaking up on somebody to make you one. Sorry, I wasn't trying to be sneaky. The door's always open and you seemed, never mind, kinda sorry. Anyway, Mom wants to see you. I'm headed topside to check out with my crew. I don't think that's a good idea, Casey. You are the funny one. I wasn't asking for your permission. That was not what I was just... Watch your back up there, okay? Ronin says to Casey. Sure, good plan. I'll keep working on my ninja skills while I'm at it. Straight ahead and to the left. Mom's in her lab, says Casey as she leaves. Kid thinks she knows everything, Ronin thinks. Smart-ass, stubborn little, he actually says out loud. She's way too damn young to be that old. Same as it ever was. April, Casey said you wanted to see me? He looks surprised as he turns the corner, and he can see there's a head of a robot, looks like the Fugitoid, up on something as April says, Hey, come on in. Fugitoid? Yep, that's all that's left of him anyway. Holy crap, you gotta stop doing this to me, he says to her. Sorry, I was hoping to ease you back into everything, but these are about to get crazy around here. About to? I think it's time that we get busy with the catching up you keep talking about, April. Yeah, me too. We see that this is a picture of the Ronin who's just standing there looking at the back of Fugitoid's head as April's there, right behind her. And we see all systems cross-checked. We hear the Fugitoid say, this is a past flashback. And you are ready for flight. You will have to remain radio silent the entire trip in order to avoid detection. This will be sure to disable the cloak as soon as you're over the ocean to preserve electrical charge. It's a long flight, Donatello, and to expending your fuel cells without backup source of power will make it even longer swim. Gotcha, Professor Honeycutt. That was a joke, by the way. And very funny, I might add. Remember, all strikers cannot prepare to be in aggressive posture in New York while we are simultaneously engaged in peace talks with the Foot Clan in Japan. Understood, but I also remember what happened last time the Foot called for a truce, Master Splinter, says Leonardo. Do you think that it's a legit Hiroto's parlay? I don't think he's an Iroko. They all lie. In the past, yes, but as an Iroko, Hiroto has also lost much in this war, just as we have. Perhaps the young master tires of the senseless bloodshed as well, says Splinter. Maybe time has come to take one last final close on the book of this feud, and his predecessors honored many ancient traditions, regardless of our clan's long-standing enmity. It is Iroko Hiroto is respectfully asking, so I am willing to try to reach peaceful understanding. We can only hope his intentions are pure, my sons, but we will not let our guard down either. He says to Donatello as he takes off in his ship, Be strong. We will see you all again soon. Splinter and Donatello take off in a cloaked spaceship, leaving Leonardo and Casey and the Fugitoid there. They're leaving. Ready the strike team. No more hiding behind your little mutant friends, Honeycutt, says Baxter Stockman. We see some soldiers that are hanging out on the street on the corner of Bleecker and Sullivan. Street 3, one top one. Need some eyes on that big rig snuggled up in the construction site a few days ago. Looks like we've got some company in the last few hours. I think they're public works trucks, but I'm not seeing any workers. Shh. Roger. Eyes on. Opening the channel to the whole team for additional tracking. Shh. Copy that. Grab some backup. We can see that it looks like this is sort of a neighborhood watch, and they're looking out for ninjas here. As they are kind of calling out signs, we could see that the ninjas are readying their bows and arrows to shoot at them. And then all of a sudden, they take out all of them all the time. So the ninjas have already started striking. Heads up! We've got movement on. More arrows come in. We're under attack! As the arrows fly. Idiots! Less than 30 seconds to compromise the entire mission, says Baxter. Captain Lee, require all the target and get the hell out of there. I'm sending in the prototypes to help you clumsy fools. Forward to Leo and Casey. What are we looking at? The alarm from the sewer defenses. We've got ninja coming in from all angles. Damn, how do they find us? Listen up. Lock down all the outer doors and take your positions. I want every access port covered. Casey, what's your location? The hangar. Me and Mike grabbed April and Honeycutt as soon as we heard the alarms. We're getting ready to head with the rest of you to the tech crew. Mike, take point. Me and the strikers got a holy hell. Looks like there's a big explosion and some sewer water goes everywhere. Casey, I'm good, Leo. Looks like April is trying to get away with Honeycutt and Mikey. We've got bogies blasting all through the bay doors and rooftop access ports. We're going underground. Negative. Sewer levels are breached, too. Pull back to the main compound as soon as you can and find a safe room, says Leo. Copy that. We're at the back of the shop now. We'll get everyone secured and then head your way for some strikers. The faster the better, Casey. We've got a second wave coming in. I've never seen these foot before. They look like heavily armored and... Just as that moment, Leonardo looks up as 4 ninjas crash to the skylight. Damn it! Casey, how about that backup? Hurry! Nasty-looking buggers. Yeah, I told you guys the Foot Clan are nothing but liars, says Michelangelo. I hear you, Mike. First thing first, bro. Let me get my wife and Honeycutt to safety. Then we'll see what these wimps got. Ugh. As we see Leonardo, who's cutting his way through these foot soldiers, these armored foot soldiers, and he's actually pretty bloody right now. We can't tell if it's his blood or if it's the blood of the foot soldiers, just as some more, it looks like robotic ones, or cybernetic, smash through the wall. Come on, safe room's this way. We'll be fine if we hurry. But Casey and Leo, says April. This is Stockman's doing. He's found a way to track me, says Honeycutt. You two, topside. Nobody passes. Roger. Watch your 6, they're coming in everywhere, says Casey. Robotic foot soldier blasts through the wall. They're coming almost... Whoa, knocks down Mikey and April. What the hell are those things? They can't be human, says Leo. Let's find out, says Casey. Casey jumps off on them from the top level down some stairs to try and fight them with his sporting equipment. One is a hockey stick and the other one is a baseball bat. The class is Pain 101, and your instructor is... Casey, no! Googala! Googala! Target acquired. This is Stockman. Bring him to me. Wait. Oh, no, you don't, says Mikey, as Mikey ends up beheading one of them with a strike of his nunchaku. Imbeciles. Send in the Mausers now, all of them, says Stockman as he monitors the situation. I want that Fugitoid. The Mausers go in, but these are different Mausers. They actually fly, and they look like footballs with just Mauser mouths and a whole bunch of red eye sensors on them. They're coming out of the side of a truck, and they seem to be coming out in droves. Hockey ain't your thing, huh? Let's try cricket instead, as he says to the robot. The robot knocks him down with a robotic punch of a whoop, and down goes Casey. Smashes into the back of some boxes and goes, Holy crap, Terminators! Just what the doctor ordered, as he picks up a sledgehammer, and he's going to go take this straight to them. April, are you okay? Get Honeycutt inside and lock it down, says Mikey, as he's trying to take off the head of yet another of these cybernetic foot soldiers. I'm good, Mikey, but the professor's in bad shape. There's a lot of debris jamming the door. Do what you can. I'll hold him off, says Michelangelo. Says the sledgehammer, actually, as Casey smashes the head off of one of them. That's what I'm talking about. Legendary. I'm gonna call you the Ledge. All right, Leonidas, what's the plan? That's a reference to the 300 Battle of Thermopylae, where there's 300 Greeks that stand against the entire invading force of Prince Xerxes. So on this, we have Leonardo standing next to Casey as they look onto insurmountable odds. Just a near endless amount of these flying robotic mousers and these cybernetic soldiers. These two have fought well, but they know pretty much that their time is done if they can't get some sort of plan. That's something you don't see every day. Mike, we'll stall these things as long as we can. Get everyone in clear and get word to Donnie and Sensei. Frickin' robot wimps, says Casey as he fixes his mask back on his bloody face. We'll follow behind as soon as we're done. But... Do it, Mikey. We got this. No! Wait, Professor, says April. Your turn to bite a pizza when we're through. Yep, but I pick the toppings. Ham, pineapple, and jalapeno, says Leo. What is wrong with you, says Casey. I know it's me you've come for, Stockman. I'll self-destruct before I let you hurt my friends or imprison me again. You shall not pass. Very well. If I can't have you, no one will. And with that, we see all of the Mousers start looking like spiders with their legs coming out, and they all start blinking red. And then all of a sudden, a giant explosion. Badoom! And the building, everything blows out. The windows, there's debris everywhere, and a giant explosion from the top. In the next panel, all that we see is hanging from what looks like a brick chimney, Casey's mask, and Leonardo's sword on the ground, in the corner of Bleecker. Back to present day, Casey Marie Jones comes out of the subway. What the holy hell? Subway's not running. Total power blackout. Everyone's panicking. I knew Hirota was nuts, but this is beyond insane. Just hope the crew made it to the park okay. Out of my way! Move! Yo, Casey! Thank God. Guys, what the hell? Martial law. Yeah, full crackdown. This could bring down the whole damn resistance. Hope your mutant was worth it, Jones. He ain't my mutant breaker, and yeah, this is bad, but no point freaking out. We need to get the word out that there's others somehow, and just let them know that we're ready. For what? I'm working on that, so chill. Everything's gonna be okay. I hope, she says to herself. You were saying, Jones? Everyone underground. Halt. Stop and be identified. Scrape, you and Crutch take out those guards. Copy. Everyone else, over the top. Ah! Scrape and Crutch apparently take out the guards pretty deftly. So they're unarmed, and they actually go in there and just take out the cybernetic police spots. We gotta split up. Use these tunnels to cover more ground. Me and Lug will go east. I'll take Crutch with me past the park. And I'll head west. We'll use the old telecom lines together. Everyone else when we were all secure. Well, let's shoot to meet in the lair in an hour. In the meantime, whatever you do, stay underground and watch your backs, says Jones. Down in the sewers, we see that she's alone. Damn, do we even have an hour? Gotta get to the lair and warn Mom. Too many twists and turns down here. Might not make it in time. Told the guys to stick to the sewers to stay underground. Gotta have to break my own rules. As she goes up and she comes out of a manhole. Halt! Crap! Stand and be identified. Help someone! She sees that there's one of these foot ninjas, the robotic ones, that's attacking a woman who's on the ground. Help someone! Foot bastard! Identify this! As she jump kicks him right in the face, knocking him down. I'll handle this, run! But you'll be killed! Nah, I ain't the one who's got to worry about. As she blocks his strike with his baton. Halt! Says the RoboCop ripoff. Hi-ya! As she falls to her back and kicks him over and then kicks him to the ground and with a crunch, crushes his windpipe. Halt! Damn it! I don't got time for this crap! And we can see now that Casey has saved a whole bunch of people from these, and she's trying to get everybody out of there. And it's kind of a throwback because she's on the corner of where that explosion was, on the corner of Bleecker and Sullivan Street, as she's above ground. We flash back to the... Actually, we don't flash back, we just go to the lair where we see the Ronin is sitting in the lab with April. I really gotta get back to Mom, says Casey Marie Jones. Ow! Seriously? Just hurry up. I hate needles. Then stop squirming. I only need a few more vials, as she says to Mikey. I get that you scientists can't help poking and prodding everything, but am I gonna have any blood left after this? What are you, like 5 years old? This is barely any blood, says April. I need to see what your advanced mutation is doing to your body. But I can get you a lollipop when we're done after this if it helps. Whatever, just hurry up, says the Ronin, as they look over at the Fugitoid's head. So, how badly damaged is he? Is Honeycutt still in there? I don't know. I think so. I hope so, says April. I'm pretty sure Stockman found us the last time by hacking the security firewalls Fugitoid had developed to keep us hidden during the war. Reactivating him now would be like blasting another come kill us signal to the bad guys. Well, come kill the rest of us, that is, as April holds up with her mechanical hand a vial of black blood taken from the Ronin. April, after the explosion, how'd I end up here? Didn't happen overnight, that's for sure. After the smoke cleared, a rescue team pulled me out of the rubble, and then they got me to the hospital. Now we see a big shift in the artwork. So with this artwork, we see that it changed to Kevin Eastman from the old school Ninja Turtles side. style here. And said, when I woke up about a week later, only to find out that I'd lost my husband, my friends, my home, my arm, my leg, and yeah, surprise, I was pregnant. I ended up staying in the hospital for a long time. Lots of physical and mental therapy. We see that April's actually walking with her mechanical arm and mechanical leg, and she's doing some physical therapy. Then we see next to her she's doing some mental therapy. Honestly, didn't know which part was harder. Meanwhile, Hiroto and the Foot were taking control of New York. We can see a newscast, and it's telling us that, as the work to complete the wall around the city to protect against rising water levels near its finish date, law enforcement has found itself embroiled in a quickly escalating war against organized crimes inside the city. When they finally discharged me, I had a shiny new arm, and a shiny leg, and a shiny new baby to go along with them. Things were getting really bad in the city, so I moved down into the lair. More like, hit us, but it was okay. We see that she's looking in the lair. It's a picture of Casey, April, and the turtles. With the store destroyed and everyone gone, it was all that I had left to remind me of. Well, you know, as it switches back to the regular art style. Okay, all done. How'd you get Fugitoid's head? Some of Leo and Casey's strike team who weren't killed in the battle recovered it. Yeah, where are those guys now? Most of them died fighting Hiroto's forces when he took over. The few that are left are commanding underground resistance units all over the part of this city. You know, Casey Marie told me about the training you did in Asia and Europe. But she didn't say how the hell you got all the way over here. In a fog, mostly. Last thing I remember clearly was trying to get you and the Fugitoid to safety, says the Ronin, as he shows back a switch to the Kevin Eastman style of art here. Except the damn explosion knocked me halfway across the neighborhood and all the way unconscious. Don't have any clue how long I was out. By the time I came to, the store was gone and I figured everyone with it. I just didn't think that there was any way anyone could have survived. So we see that some firefighters are actually putting out the blaze as Mikey looks on, and as he's wandering through the sewer. Not that I was thinking clearly about anything. It was kind of a haze for a while. All I know is that I found my way down to the sewer somehow, then to the lair. I tried calling Donnie to warn him and our father, but nothing. I was confused and desperate. All that I could think of was I had to save them, so I grabbed some things from the lair, weapons and other stuff, and stowed away in a plane to Japan as fast as I could. I was hoping to reach them in time, if I could just. Then it shifts back to the regular story of now, with a regular art style. Didn't know what else to do. I know what you're thinking, but it's not your fault, Mikey. None of it, says April. The counselors I worked with, they call it survivor's guilt, and I had plenty of it after the explosion. It took a while, lots of therapy and lots of tears, but finally I realized that there was nothing that I could have done to change the things that have happened. But that doesn't mean I have to accept what's happening now. None of us do, as we focus on the Ronin's face. I think you know how to beat Hiroto, she says to him. Then you need to show us right now, Mom. As they're both surprised by the gang and Casey Marie Jones. 'Cause all hell's breaking loose at rock bottom. Into a scene of the top of a skyscraper where a hooded figure crouches. He's barefoot, and he's wearing a purple cape. And the rain is coming down hard as he's up on this slippery part. Look down there, the tiny little insects begging to be crushed. Obviously, to the giant who towers above them, to me. I am the one they owe their entire pathetic existence to. I am the one who gives them all they need. I am the one who could crush them without a second thought. And yet they act like children. Spoiled, entitled children. This figure is Hiroko Hiroto. I give them orders and still they whine and protest. And I have been far too indulgent. The fools, they forget who rules all here, whose very will could bring it all crashing down with a single word. I am their God incarnate, God made flesh. Flesh and blood. I am their master. I alone. Lightning crashes behind him. All alone. You left me. Mother left me in charge of the empire. And before that, a small boy, your only son. Why?
As he wishes to console himself, he runs on the slippery metal as the rain continues to come down with lightning striking behind him. Ha ha ha! Because you knew what I could do. You knew what I was capable of, Mother. And you, Oroku Saki, grandfather, Shredder, see me now, don't you? I am all you aspired to be and more. You're heir, but you're better. Oh, what does it matter? You're dead, 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 and I live. Flesh of your flesh, blood of your blood, left behind to find my own way, my own path. From your failure, I will rise. As he trips and loses his footing. The greatest triumph, as he falls down into the city. He clutches on, just in the nick of time, a wire, but the wire breaks. I will not die today, left alone in the streets to rot. No, I will never again be forgotten, abandoned. I am God immortal. The angels will not allow it. As we see that he's free-falling seemingly to his death, as just two pairs of mechanical legs that look like possibly to like some sort of bird come to catch him. You're crazy. As it switches back to the Ronin now, with the gang in the sewer layer in April's lab, as he talks to April and Casey. I mean, I get the concept, April, but come on. It's like 1,000,000,000 shot to 1. More like our only shot, Mikey. With way too many variables, too. Many moving parts. Too many lives lost. So, correct me if I'm wrong. Baxter Stockman's got his own headquarters fortress, whatever, and we need to attack it and shut him down before we can take out Hiroto. And our only shot is to try and activate Honeycutt during the attack, and if he wakes up, maybe he'll help us to knock out Baxter's tech. I'm sorry, I can't buy into this. Every plan, no matter the odds, has risks. You know that, says April. At least there's better odds than 100-year-old mutant attacking Hiroto directly. And like I said, we don't need your permission. This isn't about permission. This is about reality. Do you have a death wish or what? Look who's talking. And we were dying before we got here. You just made it worse. Enough, says April. Come with me, Mikey. There's something else you need to see. April, they're just kids. They need to let me do my own thing. Oh, just humor me, okay? Fine, but it won't change my mind. Look, I've run enough schematics on Honeycutt over the years to know everything's still functional. He's just in stasis right now, to avoid detection. It's the same reason we run things as low-tech as we can do down here, because we know Stockman's always sniffing. Holy! I've been prepping for a long time, Mikey. Get ready for the one last fight for our freedom. We knew it was eventually coming, waiting for the right moment when we could strike most effectively. I've been planning. As she opens up an armory that seems to have all kinds of different vehicles in it. And we've been building. I think Donnie would approve, don't you? Yeah, but what is this? It's just a little something to help even the odds. The only thing I can say that this looks like is a cross between the Shellraiser and the Batman Begins sort of Batmobile, this kind of crazy looking tank thing. And it does look like a turtle. So we can see this. The next issue, there's a preview. There's some blood in the snow with Splinter's journal and Donatello's bow. And it says next issue. Thank you for joining me for this issue number 3 of The Last Ronin.
The Last Ronin, issue number 4. Story by Kevin Eastman, Peter Laird, and Tom Waltz. Script by Tom Waltz and Kevin Eastman. Layouts by Kevin Eastman, with pencils and inks by Isao and Isaac Escarosa, Ben Bishop, and Kevin Eastman. Color assistance by Samuel Plata. Colors by Luis Antonio Delgado. Letters by Sean Lee, with edits by Bobby Curnow. We start off in media res with the Ronin and Casey Marie with their backs against the wall of the Stockman stockade.
April, this is Mike. Are you in position yet? Mike! April, come in. Damn it, I told you guys this was a bad idea.
She'll be here, says Casey Marie Jones. But if we can take out those tower guns now, maybe me and my crew can circle right in.
No, I'm gonna find another way in. Lay down suppression fire and wait for my signal.
The Ronin dashes forward amidst gunfire from these automated threats. It says, The Last Ronin, Part 4, Blood in the Snow.
And drop some smoke. Lots of smoke.
He says to Casey Marie, But
Now, Casey!
Yes, Sensei, she says to him as her team returns fire.
You heard him. Concentrate your fire on the gun towers. Let's see if we can take those bastards out from here, says Casey Marie. All of a sudden, boom, big explosion behind the Ronin as he pulls out his tonfa, which he uses to make those electromagnetic pulses. We're pinned down. Gotta find a way in or we're gonna die in this damn beach. Stupid, stupid plan. Here comes the security. Ronin tears through some of these bots that have knives for hands and guns, just blasting at him. We see a close-up of a very burned up and robotic-looking Baxter Stockman. Don't get cocky, Mike. He's looking at something that says intruder alert. Intruders? Let me guess. More imbecilic thugs looking into junk or pawn? Eliminate them now! A giant Mouser robot with a big skull on his face says, Halt! What in the holy hell? Prepare to be eliminated, it says to him. Ronin jumps at him, this time with Leo's sword and with Raph's sai as he stabs him right in the stomach. All right, you soulless freak. Let's find out if you're just as nasty on the inside. He falls down with a whoomph and an oof. Then all of a sudden, he reaches out and grabs the Ronin and then falls down upon him. He's saved inexplicably by Casey Marie Jones, who jumps in after him and kicks off the head of 2 sentry robots that have come to get him. Don't worry, boss. I've got these 2. The Ronin is not pleased with this. He says, I thought I told you to stay put. No, you didn't. Terrible discipline. Excellent initiative. Don't do it again, understood? Yes, Sensei, says Casey Marie as she picks up the head of one of the robots. Then, a flashback to Casey Marie Jones training in the sewer layer. Her technique's decent, but she's developed some bad habits. As Casey Marie kicks and then knee strikes to a heavy bag. The Ronin stands there watching, as we can see the ghosts of the other turtles, Leonardo, Donatello, and Raphael behind him as they make comment. Be interesting to see what she could do with 10 years of real training, says Leonardo. Yeah, well, except we don't got 10 years, says Raph. I wonder why she cut her hair, says Donnie. I don't know about her hair, Don, but she's going to be fighting regardless. It's time to find out what she's willing to learn, says the Ronin. Says Casey Marie, all worn out. Well, besides getting your cardio up, that was just about useless. Whoa! Didn't hear you come in. Sneaky ninja, remember? You ever fight anyone skilled with that garbage? Hey, I got skills. Never had some ninja master to show me nothing, and I still kick ass all over the city. Okay, show me. Hit me as hard as you can. Now. Wait. What? Says Casey Marie, a little puzzled by the question. Figures. Nothing but a child pretending to be a warrior. The Ronin turns his back on her. Child! Urgh! Hi! She leads with a jump kick that he quickly dodges out of the way of. Good thing you yelled first, or it might have completely caught me off guard. Dodge this! With an upward kick. Yawn. Your legs are weak. Slow. But not as slow as your fists. He blocks a leg kick, and then grabs her fist with his own, and then flips her over head over heels, which allowed me all the time in the world to do that. I wouldn't get up if I were you. Yeah, right. She smacks the ground in rage. You were warned. As she attempts to punch at him, he slips to the side, grabbing her wrist, knocking it out of the way. Looks like we have a plan this time. Smacks out her next attack with a side swipe block. White belt quality kick as he blocks a kick. Oh, okay, maybe yellow, as she pushes him back a little bit. Nice push. Got anything to back it up? Says the Ronin. I'll show you. She jumps in a Superman punch position. Show me what? How to miss your opponent again? Back to square one. He sneaks up right behind her. Boo! That one works only in the movies or people without training. This is neither, as he blocks another one of her strikes. Wasting energy. Running on fumes. Very tired. Reaching out. With one hand, his right hand, he grabs onto hers and just holds her and puts her into an armbar and drops her right down to the pavement face first with a wham! You're done. Never! Please, feel free to take this time to think about all that you could have done differently. Gah! It's clear that Casey Marie Jones is frustrated at this point, and the Ronin is not giving her any quarter. Take it easy on the bricks. They're pretty old. You would know. What was that? Ow, I give! That's not the point. To give up. Even the greatest warriors can't punch their way out of every confrontation. Sometimes it pays to be subtle, fluid, elusive, avoiding strikes rather than delivering them. Let your enemy wear themselves out. That way you remain in control. Got it. You've made your point. Are we done here? Yeah, I guess. Wait, no. That's not what I'm saying or trying to say. Look, the point is that I don't know you and you don't know me, but you're practically family, and you need a teacher. You have skills and a lot to learn, but too much to learn. And I might be willing to teach you, but it's my way or the highway. No backtalk, no attitude. I tell you what to do and you do it. You got it? Like, seriously, no bull you'll teach me like? Like a real teacher? It's sensei. Right, a sensei. She takes him off guard by giving him a big hug. Right, good. Well, we'll start first thing tomorrow, the Ronin says to her, as she runs off. Thank you, Michael. Sensei. Yeah, no problem. Now, get a haircut. Haircut. Yeah, good one. She laughs as she goes away. He face palms. Get a haircut. Seriously? I am such an idiot. Well, I think Splinter would be very proud of you. Sensei. April. Now, how long were you watching? Long enough. I'm sorry, I hope I didn't overstep my bounds. She's a good kid, and I don't want her to get... I want to help somehow. It's just that. Time is always short. Life is short. And just what you did is more than I could have helped for. Splinter was there for all of us. For everyone. He thought of us as family until the end. Casey Marie's only had me, and I can only do so much. She's tough, and she's got her dad's courage and my brains, but she needs a little something more, a place to direct her skills and soothe her anger. Thank you. And just speaking of Splinter, you never finished telling me what happened in Japan, Mikey. I need to know. Sorry, I still hurts so much. Everything does. But your family, you should know. Once the plane landed in Japan. We switch over now to the art stylings of Kevin Eastman, and it's all black and white with gray wash. We hear the story of when the plane landed and Michelangelo is actually walking through the snow in the forest. I ditched the cargo hold and made my way out of the airport without being seen and headed for the countryside into the clan Hamato. I didn't have much to go on, just a crappy map and some stories Master Splinter told us about the clan's village over the years. All I knew for sure was that where I'd find Father and Donning, and that I needed to move fast. But the snow was blinding, and after a while I was pretty sure I was completely lost and ready to give up. That's when I saw lights in the distance. It was the first sign of life for miles, and I was praying they could help. Suddenly I was completely surrounded by warriors, samurai from their weapons and their dress. The real deal. I told them who I was. Michelangelo, son of Master Splinter of the clan Hamato. They just grunted and pointed towards the village. The village turned out to be a really massive compound. One of the elders was there waiting for me. I quickly told him who and why I was there. He just stared at me. His eyes seemed like forever before he spoke. I am Master Shincharo of the clan Hamato. Please allow me. We will speak further inside. Inside, I asked again, practically begged. Please, where are my father and my brother? I knew from the outburst when outside that all proper decorum Master Splinter had taught us was over the years before. But as I told you before, I was desperate. Master Shincharo just remained silent, avoiding my eyes. Then he bows his head, holding a cup of tea. There are people, creatures, teachers, warriors, heroes, and legends. Your father, Master Splinter, was all of these. We shift to the stylings of Ben Bishop. The art is a lot more clean, and it's now back returned to color, and we can see that there's a jet about to land in the very same complex the Ronin has come to, with a whoo. Master Shincharo, it is good to see you, my old friend. It has been far too long. Do you remember my son, Donatello? Of course. Greetings to you both. I look forward to a long and detailed chat in which we have concluded our business at hand. Splinter introduces Donatello to Master Shincharo. They both bow, and as they move on to talk, Donatello then continues to bow at all the people that are meeting him behind. Ah, yes, the business of peace. I remain cautiously optimistic regarding young Master Hiroto's sincerity in this long overdue endeavor. As do I, hopeful yet vigilant. Thankfully, our scouts have had no sign of deceits by the Foot Clan. Father, I'd like to radio Leo and the others to let them know we got here okay. Indeed, my son. Perhaps Master Shincharo can help with that. Certainly. We have a shortwave radios that you can use for that purpose, Donatello. I will make it so. There's no place on earth with air as sweet as this. I miss it very much. As we miss having you here, Splinter-san. And we will properly celebrate your return home soon, old friend. But first, we have peace talks to attend. Ceremonial garb is now attained, and they have Splinter wearing what's very similar to his outfit from the 87 cartoon. Donatello wearing sort of a traditional samurai archer outfit with kind of a bull head covering, and then traditional samurai garb for Master Shinjiro. I hope Oroku Hiroto chose this location out of ignorance and not out of malice, as they're in a giant cemetery. A resting place for the dead definitely wouldn't be my first choice, says Donatello. Agreed, but as stated, our reconnaissance revealed no Foot Clan deception. Greetings and welcome. I am Ambassador Harada of Foot Clan at your service. Master Hiroto sends his warmest wishes and kindest regards. We assumed the young master would be leading the delegation. Yes, an incredible display of bad faith. Oh, no, not at all. Master Hiroto, he's overseeing the final preparations for the grand feast we will enjoy, once the agreement has been confirmed. I'm sure he's on his way here now for the proper greeting and completion of the ceremony. But I noticed you are all armed. That was one of the conditions of the gathering. We are to celebrate peace with no weapons. The man bends over as Splinter kind of looks at him skeptically. I do not recall agreeing to that. Plus, these are merely ceremonial decorations, if you will. Regardless, we shall stand over here until your master arrives, and then we will conclude our business. No, wait, please. Let us finalize the terms now before Master Hiroto arrives. After all, are we all not here for the same reason, yes? He side-eyes looks at Donatello. All of a sudden you see Splinter pop his thumb to take the sword out of his hilt, and he goes, We shall wait. A very scared look on this man's face. Please, be reasonable. We're humble servants of our master. We only seek peace. As do we. The war has lasted generations. A few more minutes will not matter. Ha! So the prodigal mutant returns. Welcome home, rat. Out of the distance we see a mounted samurai. It's Oroku Hiroto who calls out to Splinter. Or should I say, pitiful deluded fool, how easy it was to get you here, only for you to learn you wasted your life, and that of your disgusting mutant spawn on the thread of false hope. Tell me, rodent, have you heard nothing from your family in New York? Ha 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 ha! And with that, one of the coolest scenes I think I've ever seen with Splinter. With a single swipe, he takes off the head of 2 ninjas and the ambassador, with a swoop. Hi! Oroku Hiroto. While you still breathe, you will call me Master Splinter. And with a shook, knocks the blood off of his blade and into the snow, raising his arm and somewhat startled. I call you Hellbound, which is where the rest of your revolting family awaits. Grand warriors of the Foot Clan, attack! No mercy, my son, says Splinter to Donatello. Make them pay for their treachery with their blood, says Master Shinjiro. We should have never trusted him. Another Oroku liar, says Donatello. I would not have brought this weapon if I trusted him. And even at their worst, Hiroto's predecessors always acted with honor. Splinter leaping over gravestones as he attends to the battle of the ninjas that are attacking him. We see on the next panel that they're running towards him. Let us teach this young upstart what this means. Kill them! Now, very uncharacteristically, we see Donatello actually stabbing his bow staff through someone's eye, so he is serious. Splinter leaps into action. If you choose not to stand aside and allow me access to your master, I will cut my own path. And he does just that with another swick of his blade and a trail of blood. These guys are really seriously lacking discipline. But not numbers. Splinter-san is right. We do not let your guard down, says Master Shinjiro. Fine, addition by subtraction then. Donatello knocks another one down on his head. Indeed, says Splinter as he cuts through the head dressing of another ninja, decapitating him. Donatello, fighting 3 at once, ends up getting stabbed in the arms and in the leg. Ah, bastards! Keep pressing forward, my son. Skill will decide the outcome today. Oroku Hiroto looks on. Why is this taking so long, General Oyama? These are our best warriors. My lord, please be patient. We have far superior numbers. The battle will be ours. Bah! Shut up, you old fool. To hell with your patience. Bring up the archers. Master Shinjiro, Shenji is down. Leave him. Go, get the others.
Hear me, rat. Heed the last words you will hear ever. Your time is through, as is your family's in New York. As is your family's in New York and here on this battlefield. Everyone you have known and loved, they're all gone, all dead. Then I have nothing less to lose. Come, boy, and face a true warrior. Come meet your ultimate fate at my blade, like your grandfather before you.
Father, the archers! Maybe we should pull back and regroup.
Master Hiroto, wait!
Hiroto takes off on his charger down towards Splinter.
You wait, General, for my command and unleash my archers. I would see this filthy rodent exterminated, up close and personal. Dismount, man-child. I will have your head. No, Splinter, son. This battle is no longer ours to win. We must retreat and live to fight another day, yells Master Shinjiro. Prepare to die, monsters. As he raises his hand to signal the archers, Oroku Hiroto stands in the way of the dawn sunlight. Donatello to the back of Splinter, protecting him as the other ninjas try to attack. No, you will not escape my sword, you treacherous coward.
Father, no!
Rah! Archers, fire! For my family!
Splinter lets loose with his sword as he throws it, and it right into the shoulder of Oroku Hiroto, right between his clavicle and his shoulder blade. Father, behind me!
Ah, my son!
As they're being peppered with these falling arrows as they fall down.
Splinter! No!
Both sides seem to suffer casualties.
Reinforcements! Clan Hamato! Rain hell!
General Oyama comes in on his charger and takes the wounded Master Oroku Hiroto out, who is just removing the Splinter's sword from his shoulder.
Master Hiroto, with me, quickly. Unhand me, Oyama. The armor took the brunt of the strike. I will gut the rodent with his own sword. The rat is finished, master, and so is this battle.
There's arrows flying everywhere and spears.
Foot, retreat!
Back to hearing Master Shinjiro, as we see just the battlefield just full of arrows.
There are people, creatures, teachers, warriors, heroes, and legend. Your father, Master Splinter, was all of these.
As we see a arrow-laden bow staff that's just on the ground, and some sad-looking people who are looking on upon the corpses, which they do not show, but we're led to believe that Splinter and Donatello did not make it. Back to the stylings of Kevin Eastman.
As was your brother Donatello, we could not save them, Michelangelo. I am truly sorry. And so I had my answers. I came seeking the last of my family, only to find out all that was left. There were ashes, my brother's blood-stained bow staff, and my father's journal. I was too late, and now I was alone. Master Shinjiro offered to let me stay there with the clan, but since seeing all the brave warriors surrounding me only reminded me of everything I'd lost, it was just too much to handle. So I respectfully declined the kind invitation and turned towards the mountains, and I started walking.
Picture of Michelangelo wearing some mountaineering gear, and he's got Donnie's bow staff and Leo's sword, and some goggles on as he climbs up the mountain. Back to the original book stylings of the Escarosa brothers, as the Ronin talks to April.
As the last of my kind, a Ronin, that was when I decided that the feud must end. Then I would follow Father's journal, train, and complete the mission that we were intended from birth. All Oroku must perish. If I had known you were alive, it might have been different, but the mission would still be the same. I'm sorry.
April responds with a tear in her eye, so we can see her mechanical hand as she wipes it away. Don't, Mikey, please. There's no way you could have known. And the rest, I understand what needs to be done. You're here now, and that's what counts. Just the way that Casey Marie has taken you, it's just so amazing to watch. I never thought she'd be able to connect with someone the way that she has with you.
Are you sure about that? Seems like our connection is by design. Your design.
What are you saying?
When were you going to tell me about Casey's extra abilities, April? Why would you keep that away from me?
I wasn't keeping it away, not exactly.
You didn't inject her, did you?
Hell no! You think you know me better than that? I would never do that to my child. I've run thousands of tests since she was born, looking for the origin. And as far as I can tell, trace amounts of mutagen DNA were passed on to her from her birth parents, who happened to have been nearly lifelong exposed to them from the company they kept.
What? Seriously, us? We contaminated all of you?
You didn't know. We all didn't know. Look, she's basically normal in all other aspects except for strength and speed and her healing ability, all of which is increased with age, which is why I wanted samples of your blood.
Does she know?
She's aware she's different, but I haven't told her everything. Not yet, at least, but soon. Until then, I need you to keep it between us, okay?
Yeah, sure. Our secret.
Thank you. Now, I need to get some food in me and some gallons of caffeine. Come on, we'll talk more in the kitchen. I have some friends coming over that I want you to meet.
Friends? What friends?
The Ronin holds a picture, and it's a picture of Roosevelt Island.
You're serious? Not only does Stockman have his own fortress on this, but he's got his own island?
Yeah, Roosevelt Island.
It's in the East River. I'm sure I mentioned that.
No, you didn't. I would have remembered that.
Go on, Commander Avalone.
Okay, we have rafts and cloaking devices to get squads into position. Only the island shoreline completely unseen. And we have years of surveillance. He has security, but it's fairly limited. I honestly believe that he thinks no one would be crazy enough to mount a serious attack. Back to present, and we have people getting shot up as Ronin and Casey Marie Jones are taking on the gunfire, still trying to get those tower guns down.
Everyone stay down! Keep firing on those gun towers! Stockman's got every damn inch of this beach zeroed in on.
Yeah, we're sitting ducks if we don't get moving. What's the plan now, Sensei? Back to Stockman. Alert, Your Highness. There are dozens of life forms converging on the security wall. I suggest you... Bah! Annoying flies! Nothing more than useless thugs. My guardians will deal with them. Back to the meeting.
Doesn't matter if Stockman thinks it's serious or not. We don't know what kind of soldiers or weapons he has to repel an attack. And what if he calls in Hiroto's whole army of idiots?
April says, Trust me, there's no love lost between Stockman and Hiroto. They both consider each other annoying necessities to their sick schemes. Stockman's only going to have to ask the Foot Clan for help on a last resort. Even then, which should be the time we need to take control of the situation. Once the teams are on the beach, they'll lay down suppression fire from various key positions so Stockman won't know which direction the real threat's coming from. We have our own direct communications system set up, so we'll be able to keep tight with all of our movements as the rest of the plan comes together.
We've got nothing but static. We're working blind.
We got this, Sensei. Everyone knows their objectives.
Right, you're right. Listen up. The main doors are too heavily armored, and our second objective's 100 yards that way. Follow Casey and throw everything you have into covering fire.
Let's roll, says Casey Marie. Back to the meeting.
At this point, we should clear to blow the main doors on the south side and the smaller ones on the northeast and west sides.
Back to the battle. Since we have completely overwhelmed by exterior guards or any remaining robot defenses, there's too many of them. Pull back for a cleaner line of fire with heavier weapons. There's no way we can take out all these doors. Back to the meeting. The gun tower's knocked out, the key door's blown. Half of each squad will be ready to go through the doors, while the rest will head over the top. If there are any difficulties with the doors, the secondary wall breach options here and here. He shows on the map. Back to the fight, we see the Ronin talking to Casey Marie.
Damn it, we've lost too many of those tower guns. We're running out of options.
What should we do?
Spread out and keep the suppression fire going. I'm going to deal with those guns, and then we'll find another way in.
Let me come with you.
No, you need to protect and guide your crew, and keep trying to reach your mother.
He throws his grappling hook, and he latches onto the side, and then climbs up. We see the secondary team is now dropping out in what look like flying squirrel suits. With all teams inside the compound at this point, the Stryker Airborne Squad will drop in and support all the ground teams, as well as making sure that we've cut enough of the power systems in order to repel a counterattack while we complete Phase 2. Mrs. Jones will pick up the briefing from here.
Damn it, Airborne's sitting ducks for these remaining gun towers. Stupid attack plan, stupid.
As he creeps up on one of the guns. Then, with a jumping flip overwards, he cuts off the gun barrels with a fell swoop of the remnants of Leo's sword.
This should help to keep them on the ground. Now to figure out where to keep this from becoming a complete massacre.
As he jumps away, not looking at the explosion behind him, and he descends down into the courtyard.
Get down into the courtyard and take your positions,
he says to the flying squirrels. Back to the meeting with April, who points out to some plans. With everything knocked out and Commanders Avalone and Zargotha laid out, I'll be rolling through with the main gates in our AFV, heading straight for the largest generator. We're going to need all available power to reactivate the Fugitoid, which should enable us to talk directly to Professor Honeycutt, accessing Stockman's network. And then we take full control from there. Back to the floating robot talking to the cyborg body of Baxter Stockman. Your Majesty, I respectfully request you reconsider heading to the security alert. If you would, just look at your monitors. Yes, I see. A bit more going on out there than I thought. Damage to several sentries and gun towers. Not a bunch of scraps to sell, as I suspected. I wonder if Hiroto's put on his big boy pants this morning and is trying a power play. Bah. Fire up and send out all the mousers, and that will put an end to this foolishness. Clearly, he just is not taking it as seriously as he should. And let me get back to my work in peace. Flash over to Oroko Hiroto, who sits at a computer screen.
Master Hiroto, we are receiving multiple reports of gunfire and explosions from Roosevelt Island. Crazy old Baxter. Maybe he'll blow himself up this time. Leave me, I'm working. Wait. On second thought, send a squad over there and make sure he's not blowing himself up. At least then I'll know his tech is secured.
Back to the meeting. Since Stockman's designated and built all of Hiroto's systems for the Foot Army, I'm confident we can find a backdoor to everything and finally take back this city.
And if we can't wake Honeycutt up?
Plan B is we blow up as much place as we can on our way out and start the fight all over again the day after.
I don't like it.
Back to the Turtles' ghost.
This is so not good, bro,
says Raph. He's right. Too many variables, says Don. Yeah, it stinks, but it's not like they're going to attack with or without you,
and I can't let them die.
Back to the sky where they see all the Mousers have been unleashed, the very same that made a huge explosion that killed Casey and Leo.
Mousers! A lot of them.
This is all the explosives that made it. Ready? Fire in the hole!
There's too many of them. Can't stop and EMP all of them. It's do or die time, April.
He hits an EMP that takes out a good portion of them.
Crap. Not enough.
Come on, Mom. Where the hell are you?
What the?
Just then, with a kablam, April, with her AFV, bursts through the wall. Look who I found! Again, April busts through the wall. Sorry, I got hung up across the river. I got stuck on the bottom. By the way, did I ever tell you how much I freaking hate Mousers? And with that, she lets out a humongous electromagnetic pulse that fries all of them. Eyes are popping out, and they just fall to the ground dead. Get in. We're going inside. I hacked in long enough to locate the mainframe we need to get Honeycutt in there.
No, you open the door and we'll be right behind you. Casey, follow your mom tight and with the team, and I'll take the rear. I want to make sure there's no other surprises out there.
All right, but hurry. Hiroto's got to be hip to us now. Clock's ticking.
Blam, 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 blam.
They blast their way through one of the doors in the AFV and then head in. My readings are off the charts. The main power source and the mainframe are right through here. Blam. Let's go get Professor Honeycutt. April blasts through to the control room where we see the cybernetic Stockman. Who the hell? Stop them! April reaches out and grabs the head of Honeycutt. We have a world to change. We've only got one shot to do this. As she grabs this, and then she hooks him up to the mainframe, just adding the power to him. Just need to make space and in you go. Now, lots of power. Honeycutt, here. Fire everything. Kill them all, says Stockman. But bring me that robot head. All of a sudden, April is shot back with an electrical shock as we see sparks flying everywhere as Honeycutt is starting on. Come on, Professor, you've been in the dark too long. They're going to kill us if you don't. Oof!
Stockman's throwing everything he has at us. Watch your back. Come on, Honeycutt. It's now or never.
What do you think you're doing? Saving the world. But first, this is for my husband. April punches Stockman what's left of his face with her mechanical hand with a crack. Damned woman, I nearly felt that as he backsplats her just as she goes flying to the ground. I'll finish you all momentarily, but not until I secure my prize. You shall not pass, says Honeycutt. What did you say? You shall not pass! No, stop! Both are engulfed with golden lightning that's just shooting out from them. You shall pay, says Honeycutt, for my family, for my friends, for everything. As we see Baxter Stockman, who's just seen to disincorporate all of the metal components that have been keeping him alive, seem to be pulling off of him on his body. And then he disintegrates, and we see it. Very similar to, if you've ever read Watchmen, what happens there with a and then both he and Honeycutt are no more. Goodbye, Zayden Honeycutt. Thank you, as April says. And it looks like there's a cloud of buzzing nanites that just kind of start buzzing around this control area. And we see the Ronin, and we see April and Casey Marie Jones. Everything's powering down, says Casey Marie. Baxter's dead. The nanobite swarm Honeycutt is now in control now. I'm getting word that it's happening all over the compound, and starting to affect the city too. Halt! The robot soldiers are bzz, bzz. You're not going to believe this, Linda. Everything's shutting down, even the foot cops, says one random person outside.
This is impossible. I have control over the power grid, and all the stopgaps all over the system. Get Stockman on the line, right now.
We no longer have a communication with the island, Master Hiroto. We've been blocked out of his systems, a virus of some kind. Everything is offline.
Sound a full tactical alert. I want everyone and everything with a weapon in this tower now. And I want Stockman standing in front of me within the hour.
Back to the streets where we see that there are riots taking place. Looks like two people are beating on some of the cops. For rock bottom! Hiroto's next to bomb! Whoa, says Casey Marie as she looks on to all this with the Ronin. I think we won. The battle, not the war, says April.
And not at a price I'm willing to pay anymore,
says the Ronin as he sheaths his blade. To be continued. And that's the end of Last Ronin, issue number 4. The Last Ronin, issue number 5. Story by Kevin Eastman, Peter Laird, and Tom Waltz. Script by Tom Waltz and Kevin Eastman. Layouts by Kevin Eastman. Pencils and inks by Issei and Isaac Escarosa. Ben Bishop and Kevin Eastman. Color assistance by Samuel Plata. Colors by Luis Antonio Delgado and Rhonda Pattinson. Letters by Sean Lee and edits by Bobby Curnow. We start off in the sewers. The time is now. The Ronin sits there, thinking introspectively. You know, I think I was only in this room once when Father was still alive. Looks exactly the same.
Whatever, Don. How much longer you want to just sit there, Mikey? Until I'm done. That's how long. Stop talking.
Ref's right. You're wasting time, Mike. Haven't you pressed the attack against Hiroto yet? You guys caught him completely off guard. You have the advantage.
Tell me something I don't know, Leo.
Well, I know you're just sitting in a room. You're the sole survivor of The Last of Us, and that's a heavy burden to bear. Painful, too.
Seriously? That's what you're having second thoughts? Ha! I knew you weren't strong enough to handle this. You never were. All the way to let us down, Mike. Go to hell, Raph. I wish I could just bring you back so I could kill you myself, and I damn well know that I could do it.
The Ronin sits talking to 3 specters as he sits on his old sensei's bed. We see a title on the bottom, Last Ronin, Part 5. The Last Ronin.
After all this time, coming back here, finding April alive, Casey Marie and the rebels, seeing how they're fighting against the Foot and that bastard Hiroto. All their sacrifices? If I fail now, more of them are gonna die, maybe all. Nice speech, but I ain't buying it. Something ain't right with you. The only thing that isn't right is the empty space between your ears, Raph.
Yeah, can it, Raph? You're not helping anyone. So what's the attack plan, Mike? Says Donnie.
I say another full frontal assault, like on Stockman Compound. That worked out pretty good. If it ain't broke, why fix it? Man, you guys are sure like yapping more than you do listening, and I'm getting sick and tired of repeating myself. I want you all to stop talking now.
Ronin looks back over his shoulder at the specters that definitely are not really there, but he's seeing as he puts on his black bandana around his eyes. And then he brandishes Leo's shattered sword in Raph's eye.
Right, you'd be lost without us. No, I wouldn't. It's worse now than we were ever alive, constantly telling me what to do. And what do I have to show for all your knowledge? This. This is all I have left.
Leo, Donnie, and Raph look on at him. That's low, Mike. We all did our part. Yeah. And to us it was everything.
Stinking ungrateful jerk. I know what you did. I live with it every damn day, and I've had enough. Leave me. Leave me and never come back.
He stares at an empty room.
Finally.
He opens up Master Splinter's journal, writes something down briefly, and with a thump, closes the book, walks out of the room.
Too many innocents are getting hurt.
Next we go onto the streets, where we can see that there are rioters. It looks like some soldiers that are there. With the Singes offline, there's freaking looters everywhere. Not exactly the rebellion we were hoping for, huh?
There's just not enough of us. We're trying to establish a rough network with the resistance community leaders on the old landlines. If we can get them to take control of their sections, we'll have a series of safe zones to fall back from. Hopefully before it's too late.
The series shows a bunch of looters with overturned cars and smoke flying everywhere.
Yo, forget the stupid rebellion. Let's burn this mother to the ground, says someone else.
Damn it. Mob mentality's like a stinking virus, says Casey Marie. Okay, just get back to working to the comms and we'll plan from there. Hiroto's still got the high ground, and if he gets Stockman's power back online, we are toast.
Casey, we just got word. The power outage is causing flooding in the sewers.
Oh no, the lair.
What do you mean you still can't reach Stockman?
Says an enraged Hiroto, gripping his associate by the neck.
The entire city will be trying to claw their way in here any minute. This displeases me greatly. Master Eye, silent, crack.
He snaps the man's neck and throws his corpse to the ground.
Quit gawking like fools and get my systems back online now. And bring me my armor. I'm going to go on a hunt to kill a mutant.
We see the Ronin standing very similar to the pose from the first cover, where he's looking on at the tower with their lights on red alert. Back in the sewer layer, there's water that's coming in on the floor. Case Miri comes in. Mom! This is so not good. Never seen the water down this deep here before. Mom! Sensei! Where are you guys? Wait a sec. Splinter's journal. Sensei wouldn't just leave this around. What the hell's going on? Casey! Mom! Down here! The power system failures knocked out the water pumps. We are history if I've neglected them for too long. They're rusted shut. Help me, kiddo. Where's Sensei? Mikey's not here, Casey. He left. I'm sorry. And you just let him go? What? Hey, no, he didn't even say goodbye to me. I went to ask him for help with the water pumps, and instead he was already gone. Damn it! Casey Mary Jones, stop it. You'll hurt yourself. She punches right through a concrete wall with a... Will I? Will I really, Mom? I know I'm different, and I've known for a long time, just like them. A mutant! Casey, yes, it's true. Your dad and my long-term exposure to mutagen, it infected us. Then, when I was pregnant with you, your DNA changed. It mutated. When were you gonna tell me? Years ago. Never. I don't know. I just didn't want to face it. Then Mikey suddenly showed up again, and now he's out here fighting for us. Us. Long before I met the Turtles, long before you were born, this war was happening. And they were trained their entire lives to end it. It's their family's destiny, Casey, and Mikey needs to finish it his way. The hell with that. She puts on a little domino mask over her eyes. You said it, Mom. There's a part of us, it's in our blood, like family, my family, and I'm gonna fight to the end. back into the building. You can see the tower, and the Ronin's back in, just like the first issue, trying to get into the tower to get to Hiroto.
A few borrowed and well-placed thermite grenades.
What? Says a confused foot soldier. Blam, 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 blam.
Got the diversion I need to quickly access the upper levels again. With the Singes out of commission, should just be the foot regulars standing in my way now. Time to find out how well trained they... Holy hell. Secondary explosions. My small diversion just shook the whole damn building. So much for surprises. Hiroto knows I'm here now. So, the mutant dares another direct assault. The fool. Fight or flight time, Hiroto. Please let it be fight.
We see that the stairway is littered with the body of foot soldiers, obviously not trained enough to take on the Ronin, just their bodies and blood strewn across them as he goes down.
I was right. No mindless robot assassins this time. No flying mousers. Just foot grunts with a few elite mixed in. Humans with human reactions. A fair fight. Well, almost.
Another hallway of strewn bodies and corpses. And then another corridor.
With the synthetic hybrids handling most of the enforcement for the law these few decades, these human soldiers have become soft. They've lost their fighting edge along with their loyalty. I can see it in their eyes. Their master's not worth dying for. On second thought, this one looks loyal. Big as hell, too.
We see this, looks like almost a robot, but it's just a huge guy who's holding a giant sword. A big two-handed sword, fully decked out with a helmet, and he's got some, like, samurai armor.
He's the only one blocking the door. Let's see what he's got. Flashbangs.
He throws some flashbangs.
Hard to defend while you're deaf and blind.
And he throws out a smoke bomb grenade as well.
Concussion blast to open the door. The perfect battering ram.
The Ronin kicks him with a giant flying jump kick to the side of his head to knock him down.
Whoa, big guy's fast.
He reacts with a big swing of his sword that just narrowly misses the Ronin on the front swing and then on the back swing.
Way too dangerous at this distance. Time to get up close and personal.
Pulls out Leonardo's sword to get in close.
And end this.
Jams it right in between his collarbone, knocking him down to the ground.
This time for real.
Making quick work of the giant sentry guardian, the Ronin now proceeds through the door to Hiroto.
Hiroto, I'm here. What are you waiting for? Hold on. Crows attacking on command? Something's not right.
He smacks one with his nunchuck.
More synthetics? Must be a separate control from Stockman's. Doesn't matter. More cowardly gadgets? EMP should take him out.
He jams his two tonfa together, the metal ones that make the EMP pulse, and with a... There's just a dusting of feathers flying everywhere.
I'm sick of your childish games and little boy toys, Hiroto. Come and face me like a man.
Gah! With a swipe of a talon. Looks like an owl robot just kind of hits him.
Old school robotics. Ugh. Like a tank with wings.
It does. It looks like an owl with talons on its hands and on its legs. Possibly the thing that saved Hiroto when he was falling in the city off the girders.
That hurt.
Ronin's on the ground, and he gets out just in time as a smash. The tile that's on the ground was destroyed by the punch from the oncoming robot.
Another hit and I'm dead. Need something big. Gotta put him out of my misery.
Reaching down, he grabbed the deceased sentry guard's sword and smashes it backwards into the midsection of the owl robot with a gah. Now, littered on the ground is the giant's corpse and the robot, killed with the giant sword.
Enough! Why are you hiding, coward? Coward? Hardly! I'm not the one who skulked who knows where utter fear for 10 years, after all. Which one are you, by the way? All those filthy monsters look all the same to me, dead or alive. 16 years. It's been 16 years since you killed my family. Has it? It's as they say, time flies while you're having fun, says Hiroto. Whatever. All I know is this has been a long time coming. And all you need to know is that I'm the one who's going to finish it. The last of the Oroku's bloodline ends with you, tonight. And your mother. Says the worthless Ronin who can't save his own master. The mutant monstrosity playing at family honor, all for pretend family with no true bloodline to speak of? You're wrong. Our bloodline is the shared mutagen that runs through our veins. My master, my father, my brothers, your family took them all away from me, and now your family will die. Is that so? When he had mentioned his mother, we see that there's a preserved body in stasis of Karai, who, as we recall, when she had mutually killed Raphael back in issue 2 and First of Fall, as she was put into a coma and put into a stasis pod. Hiroto walks over to her. We can see he's wearing some sort of techno-organic shredder armor where it has the crest upon his head. He goes over and puts his hand on his mother. In truth, I always hated her. She left me as a child and never returned. I only kept her alive out of spite, lost and alone in her coffin while I conquered. He holds up his hand and claws pop out. While I thrived, and he jams his right hand through, killing Karai in her pod. Without a second thought, the Ronin responds, At least she died with honor. Are you ready? Ready? Well, I certainly didn't get dressed up for no reason. One thing you have to say about Hiroto is he definitely has a very sick sense of humor. So we see that his armor actually covers his face now, and he's got sort of like a reverse, I'd say kind of like Casey Jones' skeleton look on his face, but it's all black with red eyes, and everything else is white, with the exception of red lines that go through it. It looks very apocalyptic for any DC fans out there. Let us begin the end. Hi! In this panel, we see that there's a bunch of glass flying, and it looks like Hiroto has now manifested the full shredder armor, including all of the claws and all of the blades on his forearms and on his shoulders, as he attacks the Ronin. Looks like he's actually kicked him out of a window, or at least some sort of like glass guardrail or something along those lines, as he's knocked him down a level. His armor, the liquid metal he can manipulate, some kind of nanocarbide. He can make it solid in order to strike with his fists and blades. Need to steer clear of those. We see a masterclass here on just fighting as the Ronin attacks and repositions himself, and so does Hiroto based on his throws. So Ronin catches a kick and flips him backwards, and into an aerial loop goes Hiroto, who lands on his feet just moments away from here. Fires are getting bigger. Hard to breathe with all this toxic smoke. Hiroto's anger's growing too. Better use that to my advantage. Time for you to die, hellspawn. Stoke the flames. You first, mama's boy. Rah! Now, one thing to notice is that Hiroto is noticeably smaller than the Ronin. The Ronin is just a big hulking figure next to him. We see this in emphasis as they both jump out of the window of the top floor as you see a giant explosion. Explosions felt all the way back in the sewer layer. Hey, Rock Bottom's reporting an explosion at Hiroto's tower. What? Seriously? Said Casey Marie. A lot of good that does us. We're drowned down here. We gotta get to the main pumps downtown fast. Damn it, Sensei, says Casey Marie. Why didn't you wait for me? Back to the action at the tower. Both are falling down. Wasn't expecting that. Hiroto's magic armor either. Incline should slow our fall. Still a long way down, though. Been there, done that. They recover their footing and end up sliding down, almost like skating on a surfboard, some glass that's inside of Hiroto's tower. Still fighting. Not that Hiroto cares. Idiot's fighting me the whole way down. They crash through another skylight. Gotta force him to take the brunt of this. And still barely put a scratch on him. They continue to fight all the way down through, when getting hit with metal pieces and glass all the way. I really need to find a weak spot in his armor. They smash through a second glass enclosure. Kshh! Oh man, the whole tower's going up. I need to get to help Sensei. Too late for that, Casey. We gotta find Mrs. Jones and help a way to stop flooding the sewers, or we won't have anyone else left to help us. Comms are back up. They're online. And my mom? Still no word. Okay, just keep trying. This is gonna hurt. A lot. Hiroto and the Ronin crash into a wooden water tower that's on the side of the tower that had come crashing down, when they land with a ksh and a whoosh. Nothing broken. I think at least nothing's important. The water tower was a gift. For both of us, unfortunately. Come on, Hiroto, show me a flaw. They both stand off, circling each other. There. What's this, a scratch? And I only recently had this polished. On top of his left shoulder, there's like a circle, which looks very similar to a puncture wound for the T-1000 from Terminator 2. No matter, he says as we see it actually heal itself, the nanites. Or maybe not. Now, where were we? The armor's self-repairing. Gotta have to find a workaround. He pulls out his sai. You are about to do something stupid. Really? We shall see. He attacks him. Spring! That was too damn close. Talk about stupid, Mike. A slash at his sai as he tries to attack him with it. Back to the sewers, with Casey Maurice trying to help her mom now. We're not going to be able to get any of the substation pumps online, and still no word from my mom, I know. Okay, there's no other option. I gotta get to the old main pumps and see if we can open them, somehow, and then find my mom. The water's rising too fast. No way you can make it there in time. I can if I go underwater. You guys keep things moving here, and move out as many people as you can. Roger that. Take this, it's waterproof. Let us know when you get there, safely. You heard her, people. Let's get moving. Sorry, Sensei, but I can't leave Mom hanging. I can't let these people die. You're on your own, just like you wanted. Back to the Ronin fighting Hiroto. Keeping the pressures on. Relentless. He knows I'm hurt. We could see after the last slash on his arm that Ronin's bleeding pretty badly. So Hiroto has definitely scored a couple hits as well. And with that fancy armor, he's not taking as much damage as the Ronin would be. Need to keep my distance. Choose the right time to strike. Can't keep this up forever. When he says that, there's a couple kicks that he throws and knocks him back a little bit to try to get his distance. That fall did more damage than I thought. His attacks are being blocked. Looks like every move, then his knee strike, his leg strike, and he's getting cut by the leg blades on the shredder armor on his leg. Practically moving at half speed, and he knows it. He's taking full advantage. With an uppercut, he catches the side of Ronin's face. Time to change things up. Need to make a weak spot. Ronin secretly pulls out a grenade from his belt as he has the sai in his right hand. Looked like he's going to try and stab it through him. Come on, mutant. Where's your bravado now, huh? Your precious honor. With a desperate attempt, he grabs onto Hiroto's wrist and puts the grenade into his hand. It explodes with a boom. This should stick just long enough to give me a shot. And with that, a gift from Raphael. He jams the sai into the hand, now exposed, as the liquid metal dissipated to take the brunt of the explosion. And with a skewers Hiroto's left hand. Oh, he says, is that your very best, mutant? Poking, prodding, scratching. Me? I will break you, as he snaps the end of the ref's sai off and pulls it out of his hand. All of a sudden we hear, crack-a-thoom! It looks like the tower has exploded. Just long enough to distract Hiroto. No, my tower! Impossible! More perfect timing. First rule of martial arts. Never take your eyes off your opponent. Ronin picks up what looks like a piece of the water tower and uses it to just poink, smack him on the side of the head and knock him off the side of the building. Back into the water. Lungs on fire. Need to find an air pocket fast. Strong as I am, I ain't a mutant fish. Wait, that's it. Mom! As Casey Marie dives through the water looking for her mom, she could see someone who was welding underneath the water in a breathing apparatus, and it's April. Back to the Ronin fighting Hiroto. Goof! Falls down to the ground with a thump. You're on hallowed ground now, chump. And your fancy armor's busted. Kill! This one's courtesy of Leonardo. As he lands, the Ronin jams the shard of Leonardo's sword into the side gut of Hiroto, and with a well-placed sidekick, knocks it in a little deeper. Fine, I yield. You win, says Hiroto, as his armor dissipates, and we just see that his suit is there. It's kind of crackling energy. We know this is a ploy. Rumble, crack, scratch, scratch. You still don't get it, do you, Hiroto? There's no way to win or lose today. Only end. Hiroto looks down, beaten, goes, You're right, as he bows down to him. And then his armor appears once again, as we knew that this would be a deception, and he slashes at the guts of the Ronin. This is an ending, mutant. Stupid, cocky fool. Your ending. Oldest trick in the book, and I fell for it.
Need to regroup. He throws the last piece of Donatello's bow staff and hits him dead center of the head. Donatello sends his regards. Need some space. Need to stop the bleeding. Need to catch my breath. He drops down into the sewers, his native environment. Back under the water, April and Casey try to start up the pumps again. April gives a little bit of air to Casey. Air! Thank you, Mom. Now what? We hear looks like there's a whole bunch of rubble from the above tower that's falling down. Casey's very aware of this, as April's trying to open up the pumps with a blowtorch. Back to the Ronin. I shouldn't be the only one bleeding out. Cut from Raph's sai, Leo's sword. His armor sealed him somehow. So cravenly running away to hide in the sewers. Why am I not surprised? Yeah, who's running? Ronin now tied a bandage around his bleeding gut. He jumps up with both nunchucks. Full Michelangelo now, hitting him square in the head with a blow so powerful it knocks off the crest from his armor. With a spring! Back to April. Rocks falling everywhere. Gotta protect Mom. Buy her more time. Casey Marie is just knocking off these rocks as they're trying to hit April. Then all of a sudden, ching! War. Looks like that April has succeeded in what she was doing as she moves a lever all the way to the right, just as Casey Marie is buried underneath a rock in the water. Back to the Ronin. His armor failing him. Whoosh! Gotta finish this before my body fails me. Just as he's about to hit him with both nunchucks at the same time and destroy him, a big whoosh of water comes and roars both of them out of the way. Whoosh! No! And they're sucked out of a drain pipe into a big mud pit. Casey Marie and April. It's okay, Casey. Just breathe. I'm here. I've got you. I know I had to do something when we didn't hear from you. Not that I don't appreciate the assist, but what the heck were you doing here? I'm so happy I found you, Mom. If I lost you and if you didn't get the pumps working, hey, that's what I do, right? I fix up old broken things. Speaking of, he has no clue, but I injected a tracker into Mikey when I drew his blood. I meant to tell you before, but you kind of took off on me. It's transmitting on the standard resistance frequency, but my radio's in the battle wagon, so I've got a radio. I'll find him. All right, I'll be right behind you. Just be careful. Back in the mud pit. Head spinning, guts leaking, can barely stand. You will not survive this mutant. I cannot be defeated. He's right. This whole thing's been a one-way ticket. I'm not taking that trip alone. Ronin gut punches him. Poof! You're wrong, Hiroto. I'm gonna bury you here. Then a crack across his face. Then another gut punch. This mud hole will be your grave. Broken and alone, outside the city you tried to destroy. Forgotten forever. He holds him up by his neck, just measuring his next punch for a haymaker that'll undo him. No, you're wrong. I am God. I am immortal. Hiroto grabs onto the arm that's holding him out, and we see a giant electro bubble that forms around them. Looks like lightning everywhere. And it just goes zzz, and all of a sudden he starts laughing. Knowing that this will probably take the Ronin with him. Ronin screams in fear. Ah! As we see the laughter, as we hear the bzzz, and then finally an explosion that kicks up electricity and mud with a boom. And then, silently falling, we see splish. Big hole in the front of Hiroto, who falls in the mud, and then lays faceless, dying, dead, in the mud. A Ronin emerges. Some god. And then falls. Flat in his face. Rolls to his back. Out of the nearby drain pipe emerges Casey Marie. Sensei! As we see near dying, near dead Ronin looks up. Pupils white, mouth open, bleeding. I'm here, Sensei. It's me! She takes off her domino mask. No! You're not leaving me. You can't. I brought the journal, you see? You were going to teach me. You promised. No, it's not fair. I'm sorry, Casey. It was my duty. My destiny for my family. But I'm your family now. Yes, you, your mom, always. My father's journal. I left it for you. Bleeding heavily from the mouth. They open the book. It will teach you all he knew. But the last lesson is mine. Most important of all. Ronin, clutching onto Casey as his last words, shadow the page of the book, which says, "No peace." "Casey!" emerges April in the battle wagon. "Oh my God, Casey, are you okay?" "Oh, Mikey." April stands behind Casey Marie, tears in her eyes. "Goodbye, my sweet friend." Looking down, we see a lifeline that flatlines. The Ronin is dead. "Mikey, wake up already, jeez! You gonna sleep all day or what?" "Longest nap ever, bro. Hurry up, it finally stopped raining." "What?" Michelangelo awakens in his bed to see his other brothers getting ready with the bit of daylight. "Yeah, we're heading topside for some fresh air." "And training," says Leonardo. "Come on, we're already behind schedule." "Yeah, sleepyhead, get your lazy butt moving." They throw his pads and his mask and his nunchucks at him, and he's trying to wake up. "Last one to get out does dishes for a week." Wait, "Looks like we have our winner." "Huh, don't you mean loser, Leo?" says Donnie. "Hey, no fair. I wasn't ready. You guys totally cheated." "Loser says what?" "I'll show you I'm not a loser." "Only a loser would say that." "He's right. Look up. You're all losers." "You would know, Don." "Whew. That so much for fresh air. Smells like Mike cut the cheese." "Did not." "You gotta side with Mikey on this one, Raph. You know what they say. Whoever smelt it, dealt it." Casey Jones appears. "Casey!" "Well, I cannot speak to Raphael's flatulence." "Father!" "But indeed, New York City indeed has its own unique odor." "Yeah, it does. It smells like home." The end. This past dream sequence was illustrated by Ben Bishop, and we can see Casey Jones, all the four turtles are together, and Master Splinter all on top of a rooftop, viewing a breathtaking sunset. The final panel says, "The end." Epilogue. "Yeah!" The heavy bag moves with a punch as Casey Marie Jones hits it, then follows up with a sidekick that goes woof, knocking it sideways aggressively. Huh, not too shabby, Casey. We see Casey Marie with a red headband on. Looks very much like a foot soldier would from the first movie. Reading from Master Splinter's journal. And then she closes it. "I wish you were still here to see how far I've come. But I'll keep training. I'll keep learning. I'll keep getting better, Sensei. I won't let you down." Now we move on to the laboratory, where she comes in to see April working. "Hey, Mom." "Mm-hmm. How your tests looking?" "Slight improvement, actually. Lots more to get done, though," says April. "Huh, so what's new? What are we eating today?" "Get what you want, kiddo. I'm not hungry. I wasn't talking to you." "Hey there." As she looks in on an experiment, we can see that there's a vial of mutagen on the side. And then that there are 4 turtles in a terrarium, all connected to it. Hurry up and grow already. I've got so much cool stuff to teach you. To be continued. And that's the end of The Last Ronin, issue number 5.
Hi, this is Adam, a.k.a. Casey Jones from Casey Jones Livewire, and you're listening to Epic Tales from the Sewers. Time for a knuckle sandwich, punk.
Thank you for listening to the Epic Tales from the Sewers podcast. The Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles were created by Kevin Eastman and Peter Laird. This podcast has no affiliation with Eastman, Laird, Mirage Studios, IDW Studios, Archie Comics, or Nickelodeon Studios. This podcast is a member of the Dorkening Podcast Network. Check out thedorkening.com for other podcasts. Epic Tales from the Sewers is recorded by Justin Cooper and Eric Will.
Everyone thinks because you're a zombie, you don't know good coffee. Well, they're wrong. We have very active lifestyles. It's not all wandering the countryside aimlessly or scaring passing motorists. And we all love a good cup of joe. And there's only one brew that gets my seal of approval. Deadly Grounds coffee is my guilty pleasure. Bold, robust, delicious. It's coffee that can wake the dead. With over a dozen different roasts and flavors, Deadly Grounds can satisfy the most finicky of coffee addicts. The aroma is so intoxicating. It brings all of my neighbors out of the woodwork. Deadly Grounds coffee. Coffee to die for and zombie approved. It's good to get a little deadly. Use the front door! Oh, they're so disgusting.